Greetings, traveler. You just crash landed on the M&Me podcast. But fear not, for this is no mistake. No fault in the stars, no glitch in the matrix. I'm afraid this has all been planned, predestined, predetermined by powers known not to us. But fear not, for you're among friends. So pull up a chair and join us as we find our way together. Here's to you, Matthew. What a hell of a weekend it's been, hasn't it?
Dude, that's an understatement.
This has been a jam-packed weekend. We went
a week even.
A week even.
And there's yeah.
Friday night we went out and what did we do? We went and saw Control Alt Alec and Deep Ellum at the Ruins.
Yes.
With Euphoria. That
I haven't had, there's a lot of reasons, being a father, not being able to go out and do things as much, but having that little opportunity. Not only was it an amazing mix of art and music and people that are passionate about the presentation of interactive art. Think of like a rave with more intention, very low key, and like with multiple artists like collaborating to create a visual experience with music that like there's a projection and you can get in front of it and see your shadow, so it's like you can like interact and be part of the art on top of the music and everything. I haven't had much fun in so long. It was amazing, and
it all flowed so seamlessly between each artist. Like it was all so perfect. It's like I kept having to look over because I wanted to make sure like I knew who was playing what music and what I was hearing came from who. But like it all in all, it blended together. Each person's set blended together so well that it was just like it was beautiful.
Yeah, to where it's like it just shows how much of a collaboration it is.
Collaborative effort, yeah.
And that your boy is the one
Alec.
who coordinated it all and masterminded it.
No, I can't.
So the effort and coordination, finding all those people, phenomenal.
Yeah,
I can't wait till the next event.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that and getting him on again, getting him on for the first time, and helping him promote the whole deal, and just getting into how he first started and decided, I'm gonna kind of take this off and promote it and do it myself, and because at the end of the day, he probably saw that there wasn't anything like that. Nobody was organizing these people. Maybe if I had to guess, who knows?
Yeah,
or maybe he just found himself in a group of people and he was like, let's do it. So either way, I'm excited.
I already know. I have wonderful questions just about the creative process. Because in my mind, it's maybe like us. We just started a podcast with one mic, whatever. Maybe he just had a drive to do something, and then people magnetate with their same passion. And again, I don't know, but I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I mean, there's a lot of questions that are there. And I mean, you were back there as soon as we got there. You're talking to the visual artist, and you're like, "So what are you doing? What are you?" And she was talking to you or whatnot. So that was cool. Like you were immediately.
They had the DJ person in the front, but then there's this chick with some really unique interface. Yeah. I'm like, you're controlling part of the light stuff. And like she's really into it, and you can tell this is her art.
Yeah, she did her thing to answer your questions, but then she was on her job.
Yeah, and then I left her alone. But then I just kind of was trying to get a grasp of the level of collaboration and like unique, passionate artists that are making this happen. It wasn't just a DJ up there spinning stuff, hot tracks. No, it was an interactive art experience.
Yeah, and a great venue, great people, great vibe. All like I said, that's Control Alt Alec on Instagram. Y'all can go follow him. We've talked about him before. We're gonna have him on here probably in October because we have a guest next week. And speaking of guests, we're gonna very quickly be getting to. We need to go ahead and get that set up. So we're about to be joined by a guest. A guy goes by the name of GOODLUCKBUDDAH.
GOODLUCKBUDDAH.
Out of Austin, Texas. He's a street artist. And we're also going to be joined by the kind of the guy that introduced us to him, a friend of ours, another street artist out of Waco, Texas. And he's going to be joining us as well. So he's also going to be able to help. We only have a limited amount of time with the guy. So we're hoping that Aaron, our buddy, can help add in that
help
factor
us maximize it.
Yeah, getting the questions that the people that are within the community
left to my own devices, I could probably derail it and make it go terribly wrong. So I'm gonna do my best not to do that. I've been practicing.
No, you're doing great, man. We're learning as we go.
I'm having fun, and I love to joke, but I'm not gonna be joking so much tonight. This is. I like whatever form. I love making music. I like trying to make art, even if it could be the lowest grade to other people. But now the opportunity to talk to people who have a history of unique art I can't wait. So
yeah, absolutely. No, and I'm pumped because we've we have a limited amount of time. So there was a place where I thought we would start, which is about, kind of the origins of street art and all that. But y'all can kind of, to go over some of that right now before we get them in here, not to really waste our time.
Smart.
Not to waste our time. Some of actually what I thought was kind of interesting, whenever you look up more or less the origin of street art, one of the things that's the very first, what it comes up with is prehistoric cave paintings. Or technically one of the very origin, the very first. The one after that I would consider more, because it's like cave painting. It's like, yeah, okay, where else you going to paint? Other than your cave.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? There wasn't, like Caleb said, my brother, I was talking to him about it. He said, well, yeah, there was no streets then.
Yeah, and even then, was it art to them, or was it just a way of recording history? Who knows? But it's a connection to... It makes sense.
Yeah.
Whether it was like them
the first,
I
think the first real start of it could have technically been this next one, which was in the 1920s. 1920s to 30s, gangs in New York City began tagging the side.
So that's what that movie's about.
They began tagging the side of rail cars in walls in New York City to mark their territory.
I wonder how they tagged them. Just generic paint, spray painted.
Paint, yeah, it wasn't. It was probably just generic paint, a mark. And then again in 1962, French artist Jean Dubuffet.
That sounds good.
Dubuffet, not D.
Dubuffet. That sounds.
He said that sounds good enough.
Yeah, the French don't.
Yeah, and then New York City, and then right here is like the New York City graffiti boom, which took place in the 1960s. And then the French graffiti artist Blake Lerat in 1952. And then artist Keith Haring and some other people in 1960s. And, it just snowballed from there. So it kind of went
in
throughout
the history of
the street art deal and the kind of the shaping of it. So we got some of that stuff out of the way real quick, but I think now we're going to probably go ahead and try and get them in here and get things set up.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Before we do, it just made me just think, as far as the understanding, like, what street art, a lot of people are going to look at it and think generic graffiti, some of them. But, like, even if you're thinking of just graffiti, this guy's doing an art it might have stuff that's graffiti, like, techniques in there, but it's way more than that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a mix... And we'll talk to him. I feel like it's a mixed medium, because I feel like he'll create crazy, like, poster acrylic things that'll be like almost like permanently attached or fixed. So it's not just all spray paint, but there's elements of all these different, like, mediums that are that's why it's a street art. People think, is this our graffiti art? So let's take a quick break, and we'll make it happen, brother.
Absolutely. All right, yeah, welcome back, and we're joined by two guests now. Our main guest here is Good Luck Buddha, sir, out of Austin, Texas. How you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Doing great.
Yeah, no, can't. Well, I won't complain.
And then we're also joined by our mutual friend out of Waco, Texas, Spore. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for setting this up.
Yeah,
Life's all about who you know, man, and it's showing and proving it to us right now.
Because we knew him, and he knows,
this guy, and is otherwise this wouldn't be working out. So thank both of you very much. But this is about Buddha right now.
Yeah.
And first of all, I want to say I don't know how you landed on this guy, if he was the first dude you started with, but I absolutely love your character. Is that supposed to be Homer Simpson?
It is. Yeah. I just.
Okay.
I went with something that was kind of easily identifiable in that design.
I love it.
Yeah, no,
that's legit. And I also saw you've had some other pretty cool art, like with the Buddhist monk or whatever holding the signs, and you've done different ones with like skeletons and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Is that something that you're like, are you a Buddhist or anything, or is that just something that again you felt like was artistically, like something that people could identify with, or something easy to be able to, like you said, recognizable?
Yeah, something basically that was easily recognizable, something that everybody could identify to. And I've always been pretty lucky fella, and it just kept coming to me. Like I was trying to like do anything but Good Luck Buddha, and it just kept coming back to me. And eventually, I was like, all right, I think this is kind of meant to be, and started kind of doing it a little different.
Just like pointing you there. In a way. which
Yeah,
is
and
cool.
I'm strong with the universe, so I kind of over time have learned to just kind of go with it and
Yeah,
kind
go
of
with the
feel
flow,
it out.
dude. Yeah, that's huge with a lot of other things we talk about conceptually about life and this that sort of thing. So that's beautiful. But yeah, so of course we. So yeah, I'm just kind of scrolling through what you put on Instagram, and I did my best to start from the very big, at least for here the earliest post you've done, just to kind of just get an understanding or just be more familiar with your art and what you're doing and the styles of it. And I'm just curious, so like because it's not just graffiti. There's and I don't even know if there's true graffiti elements in it. I don't know understand it well enough, but just like going back to some of the earliest stuff, like what because there's one that you did where it was like there's a hallway tunnel. I'll just go to the
I got a
gallery.
question. What was it like the first time you went out? Because that's kind of what I'm interested in. What was like the first time
Yeah.
you ended up going out there? Did you already have? Were you just putting up a sticker? Like, how did that start?
No, the very first was very vandalism. I just went out. I got one of those markers from one of the online stores and just went around and did these huge like mop drippy smiley faces everywhere.
Hell yeah.
And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, yeah, the thrill that I got from just doing that, it kind of like bled into everything else. It was just something I felt like I could do and people would see it. And my mentality at the time was like, oh, like they would see it and smile. But I'm guessing that not everybody kind of felt like that when they saw it. So over time, I've become a little more wiser and whatnot. But at the beginning, it was very crude, just on the wall, just on trucks, like box trucks and stop signs and
Yeah, and
abandoned
I
buildings,
actually
stuff like that.
Yeah, and I saw that that's actually kind of like where a lot of it technically started. Is I saw one of the things was like in the 20s or 30s, like there was technically I know it's there was a movie Gangs in New York, but they were saying that like they would be that was kind of where street art technically started, is what some of them were saying was like on box cars and stuff. So I find that interesting. That's also too like where you kind of started at. So you really did. It seems like at this point though, like you've morphed more or less into the fact where correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like people want you there to do your thing, right? Like you're not having to kind of sneak around at this point or do it kind of vigilante style. It's like an accepted thing, or no?
Yeah, for the most part, especially around here in Austin. Other cities are a little less forgiving, but here in Austin, I've been invited to multiple events and, kind of am showcased to do my thing. And people here are very welcoming of it. There's very little like kickback from people that are not impressed or not like really feeling it or
That's
feeling
cool.
like it's not supposed to be their type of thing. Austin's kind of like, it's very much whatever you throw up there is kind of how it goes. Like it's very inviting for a lot of street artists and graffiti folk. And
Yeah, cool progressive city, right? The
Yeah.
most progressive city in Texas,
Um,
so that makes sense, and that's pretty cool.
so was there any like issues do you run into with like with like what's the deal with like putting your stuff up? Because I saw one of your videos, y'all were obviously painting over like a wall. Is there any issues with street art? Do people get pissed about that or painting over stuff? Is there any like unspoken rules about street art, like either putting your art over somebody or something like that?
yeah, it's a whole thing. Like there's probably a whole
Okay.
book about it somewhere. But like the idea is like not to go over anybody unless you're better than them, and you can like basically like you're taking it over
Oh,
the
interesting.
space, but doing something better. So like if you go up and throw up some shit and then there's not any other space nearby, it's kind of like the rule of thumb is you're able to go over that spot with something better. But if you're not able to go over something better and you're just pulling up some bullshit, then like
So
it's kind
yeah,
of frowned upon.
Yeah,
so if,
it's like if you're another true artist that's basically taking your art and in a way evolving it into something else. At least in my mind, that's how I'm interpreting it. It's like, okay, they're not just trying to mess up, but if they're building on top of it and it's making its own unique thing, that whether I don't know if it's completely covering it up or if it's more like them building on top of it to basically, create something new with that being like at the core. I don't know, but that's
and like you said,
kind
it's
of my
like if
mentality.
it's a crowded wall, a crowded wall, you better put something cooler over it. If it's a lot of space and you put something cooler over it, is that what it is?
Yeah,
if it's an empty wall and there's one guy on it and somebody slaps something over it, it's like, what the fuck kind of thing.
Yeah,
unless that's
exactly
really
like
good, or
and then if there's a big wall with a lot of painting on it, it's like, hey, you can cover it up, but it better be cool.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
And
okay, cool.
And a lot of people like make it and break it in that regard. Like they understand and they catch on pretty quick, or they just fucking don't get the point and they just keep doing the same bullshit. And so eventually people take that personal, and it's like, hey, you got some issue with me because you keep going over my shit, or are you just being a dumbass and you don't really know how the rules work and you haven't caught on, you know?
Yeah, no. And are they mostly, is the community kind of accepting? How do y'all see like sticker stuff? Did you ever get involved in sticker art, or are people accepting of new people coming into the community, or is it like, how's that work? Is there kind of like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, so if you like, I have a lot of posts, but if you go like to the very beginning, it all started out after the mops to stickers, and then just kind of got bigger and bigger. Like stickers, I feel is like as a gateway drug to the scene, and then kind of you get like you can like get the gist of how the scene works by just making a few trades with people, and that's kind of how the sticker scene helps a lot of people. Is you can send out your stuff to people, and then they send your stuff out to other people, and all of a sudden you send out 300 stickers, but it's in like 200 different people's hands in different parts of the world. And
it's like a network the way it spreads out. If it's in the right hands, they're going to share it, and then so they're putting it in the right environments where there's interesting creative people. But then sometimes it helps, in my mind, people who aren't really into it, but it's so compelling that they're drawn to it, which, you know, I find that is a beautiful thing, you know, actually, you know, capturing or designing things that can capture a net like that. But yeah, so I've been kind of scrolling through some of your stuff, and like, I know I've seen some of them. There seems to be a massive level of collaboration from what I can tell. So a lot of it is a collaborative, or is it your idea, or is it a mix type thing? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a mix. Like collabs kind of work in different ways. Some people come to you. Sometimes you go to people. Sometimes you're just working on a project with somebody, and you're like, oh shit, your style and my style would work out pretty well. And it also helps with the networking aspect if you're trying to like expand your reach and try to, you know, broaden your horizons and learn new skills. Branching out with different artists kind of
that makes sense. And it was a cool, and it's not on, I don't think I saved the video, but it was cool. I saw that I don't know what point in time, but you had little baggies that had said free art, and you stuck them at different places, I guess around the city, and it was just free bag with things you've created. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure.
That was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I did like. Originally, I never anticipated to make any money off of art. It was just kind of create and put out there, because I figured what you put out there, you get back. So it was like everything was made to like just be given out and handed out. And a big chunk of that beginning part of my life, I was making art and just putting it out there for some random person to stumble upon, or, you know, kind of come across. And that kind of like,
I love it.
Yeah, it's funny you said that.
Like, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
I was saying it kind of leads into the whole, just like Good Luck Buddha, like the idea that I have of it is just like very giving and putting out there and kind of helping others prosper.
No, and that's that's really cool.
You had helped me with a stencil at one time, because I hit him up about trying to stencil my character. And that was pretty cool, because you hit me back and you told me how to do it, because that was new to me. So I know he helped me a lot and all that, because the first time I ever went out, I was up in Ottawa, Canada with TRP. I don't know if you know him, Buddha, but yeah, he invited me to come out, and I go out there, and I just had 2 pocketfuls of stickers, and that's it. And I walk up, and he just kind of laughs at me, and he's like, yeah, I remember when I did that too. But he got me into the wheat paste thing, and I know you're real big into the wheat paste. Can you kind of explain your process with that?
Yeah, tell us what that even means. You know, wheat paste, or Yeah,
so stickers, like, theoretically, you can only do stickers so big. So let's say 12 by 12 is a pretty big size sticker. Anything bigger than that, you want to get out there and mass produce. Like wheat paste is a good option. You can get stuff printed at the print shop. You can make stencils with spray paint. You can just like paint your own design straight onto paper, and then you can have like a bigger canvas to put your art out in the streets. And wheat paste, it's kind of just a loose term, but usually it's just wallpaper glue or wood glue mixed with that and water, and you put that behind the poster and attach it to the wall, and yeah, it lasts. I mean, I still have some stuff that's been out there for 10 years. Sometimes
Sheesh.
If it's not applied properly, maybe a couple of months. But
I was going to ask, what's the learning curve on working with something like that? I feel like if I went out and I'm like, okay, I can do this, I feel like I'd have like a big old soppy piece of toilet paper trying to cling to a wall. I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, is there a learning curve, or is it pretty like you can't screw it up?
Yeah, so like the video I'm showing here where it shows the guy rolling something. I don't know if that's part of that or not. Or
yeah, it's either you brush or roll it onto you want to glue up the wall. So you figure it out pretty quick, and you get messy. Okay. And in the spirit of not getting messy, you kind of like figure out better ways and more effective ways of doing it over the time. But it's a lot easier than it looks.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've just, one of the videos that was on here that, it's pretty awesome kind of whatever journey it's showing of kind of what you do. So I guess what years ago, Dr. Nothing, I've seen him a few times. I guess you collaborate with him. He seems like a director or videographer, or he does stuff on the film side, it would seem, right?
Yep. So we met up in Austin years ago. He was in El Paso at the time, and we had a big kind of meet up at the graffiti park and met up with him. We clicked, and he does wheat paste, stickers. He does graffiti. He does painting on train cars. Does a lot of filmography, and puts a lot of little documentaries together with different street artists and graffiti artists
so
around.
Is that kind of what this is? It's almost like a mini documentary, but just kind of intro into the world of, what you do and what people see and actually what all goes into making that happen. At least for me, that's kind of what I'm getting.
Yep, 100%. That was like a cut in time. I don't know how long ago we made that, probably about 7 years ago, but that was like how it was like back then, like hitting the streets every week, going out, putting stuff up there, like just kind of making your name. It's a
beautiful time capsule. So like that right, yeah, that's cool. I got so many questions, I got to hold myself back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was at a bar. We were at a bar over the weekend, and one thing I think that's cool about kind of the sticker art is that we're in an area where the restroom was covered with different people's, like, different artists and their stickers. And like one of the way, for whatever reason, I saw it was that it's almost like, number one, it's like putting up a calling card to some people, and then also to others, it's almost like a challenge where it's like, oh, I can do better than that. That's how I saw it, like, where it's like a lot of stuff was cool, but then just as quickly as I saw one thing that was cool, I saw something else that was even cooler.
Yeah,
and it's like, it feels like, I don't know. I feel like how artists could maybe be motivated by seeing other people's shit like that, and
definitely. And so, like in this thing, is this like part the video I'm showing? Is this part of the process of something something you've made, or I'm just curious, like what's?
Yeah, that's some really wet wheat paste. I thought I was kind of bored, probably high or something, and I was just like, how the drip looked.
Yeah, no, and you want to capture it, and
no, that's awesome.
I'm right there, buddy. So that's just so amazing.
So do you is there any like I saw like you had one of the posts, and it was like about like the Buddhist guy with the sign, and it says like get out while you can. Is that just did you have any meaning behind that, or is that just more or less like it would get people's attention? Or
yeah, so it was like it actually happened on a trip down to New Orleans. I came across some Banksy pieces out in the wild, and he's a pretty big influence in my art, and I felt like that was kind of like a homage to him. He has a get out while you can with the rats and stuff like that. So when I was driving back, I kind of had like an idea and kind of came back and put it all together.
Okay, that's really cool. So there is a way of like almost like, that's interesting you say that, because I've kind of wondered, like, is there a way of being able to, like you said, pay homage to another artist, but at the same time like kind of cop his style because you appreciate it, and it So that's interesting. Like, you can do that. That can
Yeah,
be
it
accomplished.
makes me think of like directors when they do certain things in film, to where it's like, oh, that other director did that, but it's like, well, it's a way of showing respect almost, you know, that to that style or whatever it is they might have engineered. But so this one video here I think is awesome. So I guess these were like pre-existing signs of some
Like a
kind
used car lot.
that you saw the
it was an old
opportunity
car lot.
to and each of the, I guess, whatever you put on them, it's different, right? It's almost evolving, or was it all the same pieces that you put on them initially?
Yeah, so the stencils themselves, those were just all like maybe a slight difference between them, but they
Okay.
all like broke down in the streets
Yeah.
uniquely and kind of cool, like in a different style. So I was like, this kind of, like you said,
Yeah,
it kind of
dude.
looks like an
That's so
evolution
cool.
of it.
And the way it ended on the wake the F up real quick in that shot and zoom in and out.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. In this house here, I was curious, like what can you say about this?
So this was kind of a cool story because me and my friend were coming back from the Grand Canyon, and we were taking Route 66, and we kept following these billboards like restroom 20 miles, 15 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles, and we finally get to the gas station. It's fucking not a gas station. It's just an abandoned building. So
Oh,
all right,
God.
we'll go to the next fucking town, and it was this place called Cuervo, New Mexico, and we get out, and it's a fucking ghost town. And I was like, so we just like go take a leak on the side of the building and come back, and we're like, this place is fucking spooky as fuck. And I was like, all right, let me put a poster up. And I was like digging through the back, and all of a sudden my Ouija board poster like flew down from the back. Just kind of, it was very like forced when it came out. And I was like, okay, I'll put it up. And as I was putting it up, I had like this weird vibe. And I was like, man, this place, something's weird happened here. We drove down the road, and it was like Cuervo ghost town. This place was abandoned. It's haunted. All this shit. And I was like, oh shit. Like,
So you discovered this abandoned house, and I saw some
And
markings
that particular
on the wall.
house turned out to be haunted.
Like, did you add these? And I don't know if I've seen other stuff, like to the right of this Ouija board, there's some kind of marking, and then there's where it's about to pass by, like this stack of markings. So
yeah, that
is
was added afterwards. So
and this
those are
stuff
just,
right
like,
here.
Yeah.
Is that y'all?
No, mine was just the Ouija board poster and that
Ouija
one next to it. And I always like go and checked out the
okay.
location on Instagram afterwards and kind of watch
So
the
that
evolution.
shit was
of the-
on there when you came in. The weird markings stacked like that.
Yeah, I didn't. That was not part of me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the fact that there's not all weird graffiti all over it, whatever. Yeah, I get a weird vibe that something very, who knows, evil
So-
or weird happened there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so this kind of, I had a question I was going to say. It's like, does this made me think of something else. Have you ever been involved, and I know I asked a question earlier about people sticking stuff over. Have you ever been involved in any beefs where people got fucking mad at you or something, or you had
There's
any
been a few times. Like
Okay.
at the very beginning when I was just putting up stickers, I was like actually Uber driving at night, and just like whenever I was bored, I was just putting up stickers, and this guy literally like chased me to my car, and I was like, really, guy? Like, you're gonna spend your Friday night chasing me?
Wait, was he an artist too, or was he just a?
No, he was just a homeowner, just sitting on his
Oh,
porch.
regular-
thinking he was
okay.
vigilante justice. No, you're not going to destroy, but thinking it's like graffiti or something.
Oh, so it wasn't even his shit. Were you just putting it up on a street sign?
Yep, and he was just he just
Oh,
happened to
okay.
see
Oh
me
my
do it.
gosh.
And he just chased you down because he saw you, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and I had a
Okay.
lady call the cops because of the same thing. She saw me put something up, and the cops came and questioned me for like 10 minutes, and then let me
Oh,
go.
so you had to talk to him too.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was
The
funny you were
Austin
saying.
cops actually showed up.
Well, it was not Austin. It was a little suburb outside of Austin. But
Okay.
Austin cops aren't even showing it. They don't even care anymore. You
No.
could
I
be
was gonna-
dying in the street.
Yeah, it's similar to Dallas, man. I was gonna say though, you had talked about how like the stickers are the gateway drug of art and getting out there, and I wanna just say that not that you have any question in your mind that you're wrong with that assessment. I just wanted to say that you're right, because I am not an artist, but my buddy Spore here has stickers, and he's like, I was hanging out with him. He's like, hey man, let's go put some stickers up. I'm like, fuck it. Why not, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, whatever. And then I'm slapping stickers, and before I know it, I'm like, fuck. fuck, man, I'm jacked up right now, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm like, dude, let's fucking tag a billboard right now, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
I didn't
You
even
gotta
have,
rush.
I had no name, and I was like, I'm about to make a name right now, dude.
Oh yeah.
So
in
he's
this
right.
video
Like
here,
I was hooked, man.
Yeah,
I was
I
slapping
imagine.
somebody
That's a rush.
else's shit, and I was just like, oh man,
it's like
I'm
guerrilla
ready.
art, you know. It's like it's energy. But so here it says you're making rust. Are you actually making rust, or is it like something you're doing that's
Putting a corrosive
making
on
it seem like rust?
Yeah, so I basically I forgot what the 2 ingredients were, but I went to Home Depot and got some corrosive ass material. I shouldn't have been doing that in the yard. I burned fucking big old patches in
So
the
it's a way
grass,
to expedite rusting something.
but it is, yeah.
That's
You
cool.
It,
So
it's
fucked
really
up
fun
your
to
night.
make 'cause it like when it hit the ground, whenever I pulled those pieces of metal off, it looked like the fucking Gremlins movie. Those like balls of
Oh,
fucking
so cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was like, oh
Okay.
shit, I probably should have done this somewhere else.
No, so that's
Get out while we can.
that's still cool.
Yeah,
That's I think that's really cool. That the fact that it's like you're still learning in a sense, and you're still constantly experimenting, which I think is cool because it's almost like I'm the type where I feel like I would find something cool and be like, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I would get a sticker. I'd create a sticker and that would be fucking it. But you were like, no, that's cool. Like, I'm going to keep doing something. And I think that's wonderful. The fact you're always continuously creating something else.
Yeah.
And,
So yeah, like
Yeah.
in this video, obviously there's multiple parties involved, right? So I'm just curious, like, if is it all your vision, or is this like I'm just curious, like, if explaining, like, so what's here, and if it was your idea and they're helping make it happen, or if it's like just a true collaborative thing.
Yeah, so this one was I was part of an art collective here, like kind of like Real World, MTV Real World, but with artists here in
Spore
Austin.
Collective, I guess what they're wearing here.
Yep, that was
Maybe.
Spray TX Collective, and it was like 7 strangers brought
Okay.
together to make art, and this was our last project right before COVID. Or actually,
Oh shit!
the end of it was during COVID. Like that was like the end of our whole collective and everything. But this mural was a dedication to Kobe and his daughter after they had passed away.
Oh man, that's
And so
really
everybody in the collective, we all submitted our like version of what we thought the wall should be like, and they picked one of
so
them,
cool.
and then we all kind of came together and made it happen.
Man, yeah. So
Nice.
what did you do as far as contributing? Is this you doing that, or is it?
Yeah,
like,
that's
somewhere
me
else?
on with the big pole. I was this was my first like real mural that I was helping with on a group, so I was kind
Okay.
of filling in stuff, learning as we go.
Again, yeah, great learning opportunity.
No,
Do
it's
something
cool.
meaningful that has like such deep meaning. It's so beautiful and it's sad, but it's beautiful to represent
Yep.
it and be a part of that.
You're
Dude.
good.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it got
what kind
shot
of
out
mediums
onto one
are
of
you
their
using?
bridges, too? So like the
Yeah, dude. Thank you,
family
Aaron,
saw
because I feel like what you've done is a mixed medium of
Yeah, what kind
all
of
these
mediums do you
different
use?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so like right now I'm doing a lot of murals and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, I was doing hung a billboard this morning, and it all started with just those Miley markers and stickers and poster and wheat paste. It kind of just evolves into like you said, it's an ever learning adventure, I guess you would call it.
Oh,
So what's your process? Like, how do you when you want to do something, like, tell us like how you start, what you think about, do you try it out, do you screw it up and then go, oh, this is a better way, or you just go out and improvise?
All of the above. Like a lot of it's just like
Yeah.
how can I make something cheaper with what I got, and then
Yeah.
try to figure out a budget way to make it on my own. Like when I showed you how to do all that stuff at the
Right.
beginning of my day, like there was a lot of gatekeepers. They weren't really very friendly with
Yeah.
sharing knowledge. So I had to learn a lot of shit the hard way. And I was like, whenever somebody asks, I'm going to fucking tell them how to do it, show them the way. Like there's
Right.
no need to fucking gatekeep this stuff because lots of cool stuff happens. The more people that are in the scene, the more collaborations.
Amen.
It's just, it's always just a ever evolving scene. And when people put, stickers over mine, or that adds to like the overall picture. As long as you're
Right.
not blacking out my shit like some of these dudes in the scene here, but as long as you're not blacking out all my shit and you just adding to it or creating like a bigger picture, I like it. Like that's over time I've kind of learned to appreciate that more than just putting my shit out there and not wanting anybody to put their name on it or go over it, or
Right. So were you an artist before you were a street artist, or was it the other way around?
Nah, actually, like I was like a very artistic child, but once I got into like middle school, I kind of stopped doing art.
Mhm.
And as an adult in my early 20s, I didn't have like a lot of stuff. I was like hobby related. I was just looking for something, and then once I started doing art, like street art stuff, it all kind of came back, and I was like, all right, this is kind of where I'm supposed to be, and then just kind of evolved that skill from the ground up.
Nice, nice. And so you said you did that big project. Was that a wheat paste or a billboard, or what'd you do?
Yeah, so the one we did right now, we're working with a local company, or actually they're a company out of Australia, but we got turned on to them by their location in Austin. But they put up these little mini golf courses across the United States. They're from Australia, and they had a building on 4th and 35 here in Austin that they took over. It has a 54-foot by 10-foot billboard, and then a 16-foot by 8-foot billboard that they commissioned us to come out and basically replace their grand opening billboard with something a
Nice.
little bit more like, hey, we're here, come on down.
Nice.
So that was something we kind of had to learn on the fly this morning.
Cool. Are you full-time artist now?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I'm getting to that point. I still have a 9 to 5,
Okay.
and I work that, and then all the art stuff's kind of on the side.
So you said when you're out there in the streets, is that something will you do it in broad daylight, or in Austin? I guess nobody really cares anymore.
No, like honestly, as an elder millennial, I
Yep. I love that.
I think that's exactly what I would fall into.
So I'll put on a vest and just go out there and do stuff in the day.
Nice.
Yeah.
So safety first when you're out there vandalizing.
Yeah,
right?
A vest?
Yeah.
Wait, so what kind of a vest?
You're like, look at me. I don't give a fuck. What
Like
am
an
I
actual
doing?
like flak jacket vest?
No, he means like a reflective vest, right?
Like a reflective.
Yeah, with a hard hat, even to like shield the
Yeah,
fuel.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
did you
smart.
do that?
People think, dude, hell yeah, that's so smart. That's so cool.
You got to think too. Like most people are like all into their phones and other bullshit
Oh
right
yeah,
now, so
dude.
they're
That's
not really
what-
paying attention to people on the
That's
street.
what that's sorry to interrupt, but that's what Aaron told me when he was
Yeah.
telling me when I was out putting up stickers. He was like, "Man, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's looking at you." He's like, "They're all looking at their phones, man." And I was like, "Dude, yeah, man." I was like, "Dude, he's not wrong." So one of the questions I had was like, "Do you see much?" Because I know like it's kind of somewhat the elephant in the room in the sense that California. We've had a shitload of California transplants in Texas. Are you seeing any of them that happen to be street artists that people are like coming in and doing shit different and everybody's like, the fuck, or no?
No, not so much from the street art scene. It's more welcoming here.
Okay,
there
cool.
there are
Cool.
different cliques within the scene, but anybody that comes here from out of town is kind of welcomed with open arms and given pretty much
Awesome.
opportunities right out of the gate to paint and create and show their
That's
stuff
really cool.
to the community.
That's really cool because
That-
again, I've wondered kind of some about that a little bit.
Yeah, Austin is definitely cliquey, but like as a whole, it's very welcoming for that kind of stuff. Especially
Yeah, I
if
saw
you're
you
good.
doing
Like,
a
if
bunch
you're
of
not-
those wood cutouts. How do you do those? Like, what is you? Do you put those out? Do you paste those up? Do you screw them in, nail them in somewhere? What do you do with those wood cutouts? I've seen you
Yeah,
do.
with the wood cutouts, I'd basically get a lot of plywood from work and then paint designs on it, cut it out, and then either use wood glue or screw them into
Okay.
different surfaces.
Because I had done some canvases, and on the back of them, that piece of wood, you can just do the wood glue, like you said, and just stick them onto whatever you want around. I don't know how well they stay up because I usually don't hang around after I do something because in Waco, man.
Oh yeah, sure,
you-
it's a different
But
environment.
They're
that
gonna
you're
show
done.
up.
Your mind, you probably walk away because like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm done. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Waco ain't got
Yeah.
shit going on. They'll be on you like white on rice.
Well, that's what's crazy is because just my guy. I mean, I'm probably one of
My
the
guy.
few people doing anything, and within a couple months, people are like, "What is this thing?" And it's like everybody knows it. it's on my debit card, and people say, "Oh, what is this? I see this
That's
all over
cool.
town," and I have
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea, man. It just looked cool.
Yeah, no shit. We were at a bar and the girl was like, "Oh, I see." He gave his card and she's like, "Oh, I see this guy everywhere." I was like, "Yeah, no shit, huh?"
Yeah.
Well,
And it's funny because we printed out a bunch of QR code things that laminated first to just put wherever.
Yeah, we're taking over the street art scene.
But it's just funny. You said free art on yours, which is beautiful. At the top of mine, I just put free friendship because at the end, we just want people to check out our podcast and just feel like they're welcome to hang out with friends. And so it's just funny. You had free art. We did something similar, but it just says free friendship at the top in the QR code.
It's all encompassing.
Yeah, dude.
man.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I love the vibe you're giving off and like everything about how it's like. I love the fact that it's like you're just as you're opening to you're open to all this. Like you're more or less like you said. You're not you're not gatekeeping anything. You see it. The more the merrier, and the more you can kind of get people involved and feel welcome is the better for everybody. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's like an artistic community thing. But so yeah, this one piece that I have up here, like I guess you were in Rome when you did this,
Or his sticker just made it there.
or just made it there.
Yeah, so those are some wheat paste that I forgot who got them over there, but
Okay.
when you're trading out stuff, posters and stuff like that, you send out a bunch and they get all over the world. And this is an example of that. And
That is so
this happened
cool.
to be a very happening spot.
Yeah, that's so cool, and it makes me think. I know Aaron would have art on envelopes that you'd mail all over the world to other artists, then they would add their part and it'd come back to where that's literally turning the world into a community. And it's and the internet and what it's able to do with that is, it's just, for me, it's like embracing, everyone has whatever negative thoughts and all that, but it's like, man, it's a powerful tool that can really evolve art and humans in a beautiful way, and I feel like here are examples of that, so it's really cool.
Yeah, that's what works really cool with the collaborations too, is you get these relationships and friendships that last forever. And when you go and visit their towns, you got like a already baked in, what do you call it? A travel guide that, shows you all the scenes, and you get to see the cities from different perspectives. Like,
It's like you have a good friend that you're visiting, basically.
Yeah. And it's such a cool experience because, like, when you go and do those like city tours, like you don't get to see the same side of the city as hitting the streets with your friends at night and seeing the site.
Lived there and knows it. Yeah, dude, that's so cool. So, if you're ever in around North Texas, you just let us know because the Dallas area, that's where we're at, and just throwing that out.
I was in Fort Worth for about 3 months, probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Nice. What were you gonna say,
Dallas
Aaron?
is cooler, way cooler.
I think Aaron had something he was gonna ask him.
Oh yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, do you do a lot around like 6th Street and like right around that downtown area, or where? Because I see people they post pictures. It looks like they're posting pictures of themselves next to your work. Do they send that to you, or where are you putting this up? Because it looks like it's getting a lot of eyes.
Yeah, so some of it's like people tag me in it or share it with me or see it in some that they know's feed. Sometimes I just go and look. I've kind of become jaded on the whole Instagram stuff, like in the last year, so I haven't been very active in it. But it doesn't.
Why is that?
What turns you off to it?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's just not the same anymore. It feels like that it's forced. Like you have to like stay interactive.
Always posting, and
I don't have all the time for all that anymore.
Right.
After a while, it's just like you kind of like. Even though it's all different stuff, you want to post different stuff, kind of deal, and it feels forced and stuff in a way. So I'm like, like, I don't want to say I'm like into likes and stuff like that, but like back in the day, it was like a couple hundred likes every time, and then now it's like some posts only get like 8 likes. Yeah, like what the fuck?
And what I was gonna say is that you're not wrong about that, because it's like at the end of the day, Instagram used to be for pictures, and now it's like they gear it towards just videos and reels and shorts like that rather than photos.
Yeah, they aren't even artistic. But one thing, because for me, and I guess this kind of, I don't know, like I have I play instruments, so like I'm very interested in art, and wanted to like make film and went to school for that, but dropped out for that and went to business and sold out. So it's like I've always had like had ideas and stuff and I've had a problem with AI when it came out, and I was like, oh, it's blah 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 blah. But then I just thinking, okay, it's here, it's actually a tool that I can actually try and manifest and visualize some really abstract ideas, and then still edit and still, so I'm like, I can still like make a kind of art with it, and just acknowledging it as a tool. And so doing that, and then like picking music with like that one. So you must like Tool like me, I guess, which is awesome. I actually have the Salaval thing up on my shelf from like the original one, but
Nice.
but for me, like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts, things which I hate what they do to society and people in general, but that's kind of like the avenue for me to distribute. And I'm just like, in mind, I don't like. There's a way to disable the like count. Like I'll disable that because I don't want people to see it and even think, oh, should I like it or not? It's like I don't want you to even know. I don't care about likes. It's just like views, and just trying to just expose something if they're interested enough to stick around for everything's less than a minute. That I'm just want to capture their mind and attention, and for them to be like, oh, that's so weird. It doesn't mean anything, and for me that's fine. Just because like everything that I've made, like in the timing and the scene, I'm just very intentional. It's like a way for me to try and finally like make movies in a way, but so I feel like it's like a new form of, maybe not new, but a form of art. Because I'll just take clips or images of anything that support the theme in my mind, and the best avenue is Instagram or TikTok and whatever. So it's like I'm just trying to sneak into people's minds, whoever happens to see it. So I don't like it, but I'm seeing like, okay, there's a way to try and distribute interesting ideas to people who might, be interested. Getting to know you guys and stuff is a way. Because I did like a short rendition of one of your things, and again, if I've done anything and it's like, oh, I wish you didn't do that, it's just me trying to give props to you, and that sort of thing. And so, but yeah, so that's just like a summarization of, how I'm forced to feel about social media and Instagram, just as far as artistically, and then just the mindset behind the random things that I've made, if you might have seen them, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the exact same mindset that I have with the street stuff. Like I'm forcing people to see this, whether they like it or not. Whether they
Which
actually
is
see
even
it,
better.
to them. Like you have to catch people. Like everybody's attention span is so short nowadays. Like you have to catch people in the right time of day, the right mindset, the right mood. Like to get some even music that I now like, and I can't believe like I didn't like for so long. It just didn't catch me like at that right time or that right moment or that right second in the day that. It needed to be.
I know exactly. Yeah, dude. And
Well,
that's what's
bringing
beautiful
that
about the
up,
sticker thing. People are gonna be driving by, and they're gonna, that we gotta find a. Yeah, that's just beautiful. I love it. But I'm sorry.
What you were saying about like you're forcing people to look at it, because usually when you go down the road, like you have to look at the Macy's ad, these giant ads telling you to buy this and buy that. And it's fun just to go cover that up with something that means absolutely nothing at times.
And you could not even cover it up and just have it buy it, There's so many ways. Yeah. Man, it's so cool.
Well, where can people find you, dude? How do they look you up? I know you don't like Instagram anymore, but how can people find you?
I'm really like lame on all that stuff, but I still post stuff on stories on Instagram. If I have some new stuff, like the murals that we've been doing, I haven't really like got finished pictures of all of them yet, so it's kind of like raw photos. So I'm like, I'll save it till I get a great picture of it and never get around to it kind of deal. But yeah, I have a website, goodluckbuddha.com, Instagram, Facebook. I don't even know if I have Facebook. I might have MySpace, but
MySpace.
Fuck yeah. Bring that shit back.
It.
Bring that shit back.
Yeah, like I said, you're an
Your site
aging
pulled up here,
millennial.
and I'll share it because this seems like a lot of questions that we would have asked. Like,
yeah, well,
this tells your website gives the opportunity to know about you, the background, and then the art. So this is beautiful. So I mean, this is what we'll share. Definitely be sharing this if that's cool with you. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we can't wait. I was just gonna say
Store.
we can't wait to share your shit on Instagram though.
And Mikey's the type of guy, he's gonna buy one of these watch, and he'll be like,
dude.
"What?"
I buy shit. I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah, $400 we could get that together.
What's that? Ain't nothing.
So don't be surprised if one of these gets bought recently.
Yeah, no, it all.
Nice. Oh yeah.
But what do you what do you got like so we're coming up on about your time limit, as you said. We're coming up on your time limit, as you said, for being an elder millennial. So would you have any recommendations perhaps for any young artists that are trying to get into the game or stuff like that, maybe that struggled with this? What would you say to somebody that was like you starting out, if you could go back, if you could find that young Buddha before he became a big Buddha?
Yeah, I love that question, and I like to be inspirational. And I tell people just to kind of go ahead and do it. Don't second guess yourself. Like before I got into doing street art, like I thought about it for 6 years before I even started doing anything. And it's like really at the end of the day, like had I just jumped into it, where would I be right now? So I like to say just go for it, push yourself, try new stuff. Don't be fucking so judgmental on others. Don't let people be so judgmental and take it personally, because I have so many haters. Like it's kind of like grows as you get more in the scene, and the more you evolve, there's more people that come out of the woodworks and want to knock you down, and you just can't let that phase you. You just got to keep going and keep pushing out your message. If it's a message, or if your art you want pushed out there, just keep doing it. So,
do you have a message? Do you message at all in your art, or is it, how do you approach that?
Yeah, I like to kind of push the idea that luck is a mindset. The more you put it out there, the more you get. Okay. The idea of luck is just, it's a lot of hard work and good timing. So it's like,
that's funny. Luck. Like I said, luck is like a mix of preparation and recognizing opportunity and being able to act on it. Yeah. That's cool. So everything you do, that's kind of like an underlying mindset or theme that obviously can be expanded many ways. But so like you have an intentional in your mind. There's like an image and a message behind it all.
Yep, and I like to let it be interpretable by the viewer, like the get out while you can stuff. I kind of started pushing it as like the Californians moving to Texas, and then
that's what I thought it was, man. That's kind of the way I saw it.
I bet it has something. Hey, Austin's at capacity.
Yeah, that's awesome, because that's always the way I took it.
Yeah, no, that's funny. That's a great,
Yeah,
and I know you've
got a lot of great stuff
Drib down there, right?
Say that again.
You've done work with Drib down there.
Drib, yeah, he's a homie of mine. He's great. He gets out in the streets. He puts in the work. He's got a lot of fans and a lot of haters, and he keeps on going.
Yeah, I did a collab with him actually when I was in Canada, and I mailed him something that I did half, and then he finished it and mailed it back. I still have it around here somewhere, but that was pretty cool because I've been down to Austin and I've seen his work up, just driving around down there, and it's pretty cool just to see, because I've been to cities. Like there was a time I was in Pittsburgh, and I saw a guy up in Pittsburgh that I knew. But he wasn't from Pittsburgh at all. So it's like we were talking about the trades and just getting your stuff everywhere. And that's a pretty cool way.
Yeah, it's cool whenever you like come across that stuff, or it feels like the world's like everything's connected, like you're on the right path kind of deal.
Yeah. Where do you where can, if people are down in Austin, where would you tell them to go find some of your stuff in the wild?
So most of my stuff nowadays is just kind of scattered around the downtown scene. East 6th Street, South Congress, East Riverside. I'm kind of like not so much around up in the streets anymore. Here in Austin, I haven't gone out. I maybe go out once or twice a year now.
Okay.
Like after a while, like stuff doesn't get buffed down here, so it's like
it's just piled up.
Going out and keep hitting the same stuff, but then it just becomes like too redundant, I guess.
Sure.
And I don't want to get worn out or anything like that, so I just kind of change it up, do other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. Well, I'm going to be out in Austin in October, so if I see any, I'm going to make it a point to fucking look for you. Be like a Where's Waldo?
Stick a Mike and me thing right above it.
Yeah,
right
I'm going to
there.
be like, I'm coming out.
Like, hey,
I'm taking over the scene with my
We
bullshit.
got,
No, I'm kidding.
We interviewed the artist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'm going to make a
That's
fake
like,
sticker.
It's kind of like the old days, like people would like carve their names in the trees or write their stuff in the caves.
Damn.
Exactly.
And passing, and now the stickers are just like a way of like how people nowadays like just leave their mark in passing.
Yeah, so
evolution of something we've done forever, right? With this technology, but we're still doing it.
They've even found on Hadrian's Wall up in England, like where the Roman soldiers would draw like little dicks on the wall.
So that's hilarious. So they had their own jokes against it forever, right?
Oh yeah.
So nothing is new. Man's not changed. We just
Yeah,
have new tools and new mediums and methods
awesome.
to do the same shit we've been doing forever.
that's awesome.
It's ingrained in our DNA. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
what? I
beautiful.
know. When I first jumped into basic training, and I was in the army. They stuck us in this room for a while, and you could tell this place was just old. And the desk we were sitting at, I mean, there were like 50 years of future infantrymen just drawing dicks on this table. So it's just layers of dicks throughout the years. It was hilarious.
Centuries of depictions.
Was that super bad? The whole thing about like
where he's
drawing the dicks
in his
Yeah.
books. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Well, hey man, no, so we know we're gonna give you the time to go ahead and give you the chance to make your goodbye. I'm sure you're winding down. It's been over 30 minutes. We've kept
Yes,
you,
we
my
got
boy.
3 extra minutes from you.
Yeah, we did. We squeezed all of it we could out of you. But is there anything you want to say to anybody before you get out of here, man?
No, man. I just want to say I appreciate you guys for bringing me on. This was great. It was a great vibe you guys put out there. Keep doing what you guys are doing. When I'm up visiting Waco or the Dallas area, I'll be sure
dude,
to holler
hit
at
us
you guys.
We'll find a way to connect. We'll
man.
try. We'll do what we need to make it happen.
I'm going to offer Matthew's place a place for you to stay. We're right here
I've
in
got
East
extra
Dallas,
rooms,
so
so
stay here.
We go to
Yeah.
shows up there at Deep Ellum sometimes. So.
Oh, dude, yeah, we were just in Deep Ellum on Saturday night. So yeah,
Friday
man,
night,
we're in the area. It was Friday.
We posted
Yeah,
today,
fuck,
so,
it's all the same, right?
I'm like 10 minutes from there. So
Yeah, man. So no, it's been
Nice.
great having you. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'd love to have you
Yes,
back
thank you so
anytime.
much.
If in the future you're going to be working on anything that you want to promote and you don't feel like putting it on Instagram, hop on here, man. We're going to do the best we can to share everything we can about you on there and on all the platforms. We're also on Spotify for anybody that you might want to know that wants to listen to this, or if you want to share it with your people. We have the option for y'all to download this on Spotify and listen to it as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I'll share that on with my peeps.
All right,
Cool,
goodluckbuddha.com, right?
Yeah, and I'll be sharing the link. I had to set up, but yeah, no. The description, I'll definitely be sharing that and on the Instagram. So, yeah, thank you so much, man. It really means a ton to both of us and to me, and just, seeing the way another artist creates their art, and it's beautiful, and thank you.
Yeah, you guys are very welcome, man. Y'all have a great night.
All right, cool. Appreciate you, brother. Be safe,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Y'all too.
Hell yeah. And we're back. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. That was awesome.
Woo.
That was really Aaron. Thank
My
you,
pants are
thank
tight.
you, Mr. Spore, for setting that up. For using your contact to help us out, and
Mr.
also
Spore.
we hope that it's just as beneficial to everybody all around. But no, that was a fantastic talk. Being able to get inside the head of him and understanding what he does in such a short
It's
amount
like
of time.
Softmax, the interview, because
yeah.
applied to a form of art that's so
it's
unique.
beautiful.
So, yeah. So, Mr. Aaron, I know you kind of connect this to him. What are your thoughts summarizing the whole experience and everything we just did? You did.
Well, I thought
a
it'd be
lot
cool
of.
because a lot of times you may notice the big obvious graffiti pieces of someone spray paints a train or whatever. But if you get to looking around, you start to see stuff everywhere, and it's like there's someone behind that. There's something going on there, and most people, they see it and they're just like, "What is this thing?" And they have no clue.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to bring a guy like Good Luck Buddha, because he's been doing it a while. He does big stuff. He's all over the place. People know who he is, and just to hear like how he does it, what he does, what he comes at it, how he comes at it. Because I know when I started, you start to notice it once you start doing it. And there's so many. I mean, at first you may be kind of nervous. You may be like, oh, everybody's looking at me. But like we talk about, nobody's looking at you.
No.
Everybody's thinking about themselves. So
Even
you're
if
just
they're
free to
like,
do
it
whatever
doesn't
you
matter.
want.
They're not gonna think that long about it. At
No.
all. And even if they were, what Softmax was saying about, you gotta learn to just turn off your filter, your editor, the part of you that makes you worried about even what you're doing. Oh, I could do better. It's like, no, just start doing it. Just start, and you'll just get better if you actually care. But just start.
Well, that's what
we did.
What Buddha said
stupid
too, right?
podcast, you know.
Yeah.
Look at our
That's
first
what he was
episode.
saying.
We had a crappy mic, no love setup, but we just needed to get the ball
Didn't we
rolling.
have one mic?
No, yeah, we just had one mic we shared.
Yeah.
And hardly any lighting or cameras.
And
but
we kissed.
we made love right
Once,
after.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, dude.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
yeah, because you were
I had
no.
to fake it the second
So
time.
that tells us that he was the only Patreon supporter that paid
that
for
tells
the
us
dark
that
content.
somehow he was here secretly spying on
okay.
us.
No, he paid for the dark content. That's how he saw
Oh, the
that.
Patreon. That's
The
what you get.
Patreon,
That's right.
see?
That's right. That's part of what you
Have
get.
you made that
dark
Patreon?
content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he
Yeah,
had
it
a
was-
point. We need to be on Rumble. He had a point.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Rumble
yeah,
it up.
Yeah.
Let's rumble.
I'm gonna
rumble.
ask AI what are the most popular social media platforms and just literally use all
Matt,
of them.
I'm gonna ride over here one day on my XR100 Honda dirt bike, and to those who know what
Yeah,
that
you
is,
are.
I'm gonna ride. That's what John Connor rode.
That's great.
And I'm gonna tell you,
Wow.
get on my dirt bike, and I'm gonna have to drive you away from the Terminator.
You're gonna
'Cause you're
go lock,
fucking
you're
playing.
gonna go lock me in a box.
You're
somewhere for my
playing
own
with
safety.
AI. You're training.
He's
John
staring
Connor's
into the
watching
abyss.
us. He's watching you become friends with AI. How do you feel about that? All the shit you learned, you're out here becoming friends with AI. What did you
Know
not
your
learn
enemy.
anything
Know
from
your
the
enemy.
T1000
No, I can't
and
beat it.
Arnold?
No, you know what I mean? No, you can't beat it. No, it's still new
No,
enough.
you can.
The best thing I can do is
No, you can
learn
beat
as
it.
much as like. That's
Molten
great. You have that
metal.
mindset. You waste your energy trying to beat it. I know a lot of people are new to it and they're not even trying to experiment with it. I want to be at the forefront of leveraging it to my existence to try and somehow monetize or just create better things. I just want to leverage it to make my quality of life better because like I used to fight it and be against it, but I'm like, that's wasted energy. I might as well just try and embrace and see what I can do with it. There you go.
But molten metal will defeat AI.
Yeah, and then we'll molten metal.
That's what he taught us.
Yeah,
So,
we'll do that, and I'll try that.
That was
out.
like
Just
a
don't kill me.
silver steak or something.
it was a little bit of both, but no,
Little
we
bit
need to
of both.
keep. We need to not get distracted and
You brought
wrap
that.
up.
Yeah,
wrap up.
I'm done with that,
I
yeah.
did bring it up, but
Because
no,
now
I
I'm
just
about to
wanted
show you where I made some chrome shit, but I'm holding back.
I just wanted to wrap up what we did here with Buddha, and
beautiful.
we're actually next week. I know this is something we could drop at the end. We might as well drop it now too.
Drop it.
Next week, we're also going to be having another artist on that our good buddy here, mutual friend, set up as well, and we thank him for that. And that's something's cool. It's like
Dude, it's amazing.
getting connected with your friends, and it's like we just started this whole thing. We've known him.
Yeah.
And we told him, we told Spore that we're doing this whole deal, and he was like, "Hey, man, you should look into these guys," and we're all for it. And so we love the
It's
fact. It's
beautiful.
just cool, like not being afraid and self-conscious of sharing our stuff and telling all our friends, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and look how it's worked out. It's worked out great.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends
Organic
listen.
and beautiful.
Zach was listening. Shout
Yeah.
out to Willems. Like
Just
me and him
actually,
were
as you
talking
get older,
last night.
connecting with friends and getting
Yeah.
them, it's beautiful.
No, it's and like Good Luck Buddha was saying, that's what I really liked about his message, man, is that it's like he said, I love the fact that he was saying how he doesn't gatekeep. He helps other young artists out.
Yeah.
If other people are like, hey, man, how do you do this? He's like, I'm not going to keep it a secret. It's almost like it's just passing that torch. You can either take the stance of like, hey, fuck it, I'm going to be the old head that keeps a secret, and that's the way I had to learn, or you can be the person that's like, no, I'm going to try and help evolve this, and that's what's really
try
cool
and help
with what
evolve
he's doing.
people in society. Is
Yeah.
And he
it's like-
does, man, because I asked him about a stencil for my character, and he took the time. He went into how to do it. He was taking
beautiful.
pictures and like, here's what you got to do. I mean, he's legit, dude. He's a good dude.
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
awesome, man. And at the end of the day, it's like all it's done for him is broaden his, now you referred him to us, and we're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool, man. Like, it's worked out all
Yeah,
the way around.
Doing
Like,
good's good karma. Doing good, it's gonna be good for
Yeah.
you.
No, so, so absolutely at the end of this episode, good luck to Mr. Good Luck Buddha
Definitely.
on all fronts. What a guy. Such a cool dude.
And go check
So
out his website.
Oh yeah, I'll be posting it, and we'll be promoting it, and
Yeah, links
Rumble
will
and
be in the
everywhere else we
bio.
can.
Yeah, absolutely.
so
Hell
we will.
So
we can
let's
close the door
we can
on
close
this
the
chapter,
door.
this segment. and move on to some important things that I know Aaron was bringing up. Well, I'm not going to start with the purple tape because that's so mysterious, but I am going to want to ask you.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Aaron. There's memories and things that me and you have done together. I don't know how the whatever circumstances led to it. Just because, like, when you lived around, like, for the first time, Enter the Void, I had that movie.
Yes. Oh,
and you were with me.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yes.
exactly why you were the only one with me, but I guess we hung
It's
out
just the
just
way it
us two
worked out.
sometimes. And, you know,
Yeah.
and Chris
Yeah,
was
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like, man, he's like, I didn't even realize that you two were that close. I'm like, I guess I didn't either. But me and you
it
have
just
always
kinda
had
happened, right?
we've always had a kindred connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the way we look and are objective about things and that sort of thing. I just feel like, and you know too, every time we talk, everyone has unique connections and they have different things. I just feel like a very unique, similar, you know, the way we think and do things.
Oh, yeah.
That connects
Well,
us.
I think too much about everything, and that's my problem.
That's probably connects us because I do the same thing too. And so it was just cool just sharing that. And I feel like there's something else weird. I think I watched Human Centipede because of you wanted to check it out.
Was that my fault?
No, not
Man, I'm
your
sorry,
fault. We
dude.
both
y'all
knew
made that
no,
movie?
we both knew it existed and just felt like we have to at least see what it's about. We owe it to see what the F this was.
You know what though?
It was me and you, I think.
On that same
Man.
Yeah.
on that same thing though, you said you had to see what it's about.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I never saw, and this is straight up. Sorry guys, I'm
Watch
eating
the
a piece
second
of
one.
I'm eating a piece of pizza.
No, I didn't see any value in seeing any of the other ones.
I never saw-
let's see. No.
2 girls, 1 cup, but I knew all I needed to know.
Yeah,
I
I didn't want to
didn't
see
need
it,
to
but I
watch
actually
it.
did see it. It's
Somebody
so
said
short.
it to me.
It's so short.
Somebody said it to me, and I was like, "That's enough. I don't know. I don't need to see anything. I already know all I need to
and
know."
at the end of the day, it's gross, but it's
disgusting.
not
A lot of people
as
saw it.
bad or
I think it's
disgusting as you would think. Especially for now, it's gross, disgusting, but there's far worse disturbing things than that. You know.
Yeah, like I'll just I won't get into it. I was
But
about to
yeah, well,
say.
let's stop with the cupping and
Wait,
so I
far
set
more
the
disturbing
base.
things than the human
Are-
centipede?
Oh no, he's on 2 girls, 1 cup.
R.I.P.
Oh, then Human
to,
Centipede. Yeah, that's nothing, dude. If you want to know some
Really?
dark, weird horror,
Oh, dude.
I'm good.
Yeah.
like
He said
have you
no,
heard
yeah,
of
don't
have you heard
ask
of a
that.
Serbian film?
No.
It's
God.
called the Serbian film.
No,
That's
that
the name
sounds
of it?
terrible.
Yeah, I want to. I can show you trailer and stuff. I don't have unless I want to,
I don't.
because my obsession with film. I read and learn about all sorts of stuff, and
No,
as
time
far
out.
as horror and disturbing
Time out.
things go, this movie called a Serbian film is way up there, and it's within the last 15, 20 years. There's an older movie. Either way, I'm not getting
Matthew has a propensity, though, to not just read about. You find the wildest shit.
I want to see
The wildest
I'm drawn
shit.
to-
You
I
don't
want
find
to
like
see
a
what
great
exists.
story about like a father who finds his long lost son and they reunite and go to a baseball
That's
game.
beautiful.
You don't find that. No. You don't find that.
You find the guy
like
in Austria who locked his daughter in a basement for 27 years and had 10 kids with her.
yeah. Oh, that was actually a real guy though. That was a real guy.
Yeah, Joseph
Fritzl.
Fritzl.
Pretzel. Yeah, dude.
Pretzel.
Yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Pretzel.
You're son of a. You
Yeah.
son of a.
It's
Son of
funny
a.
because Jeff was learning.
Yeah, I love
I
you,
know what
though.
kind
I
of
love you.
movies Matt would like.
You
He's
share your
learning
shit
what
with
I
me.
like, but I feel like all those little short things that I make. That's kind of another, window into okay, I like these kind of movies. The shit he's doing, okay, that makes sense. Knowing the weird abstract stuff and themes, that's what kind of comes into the stuff I make. I try and make it accessible, but that's, it kind of represents, okay, I like weird abstract thinking that artists create to try and generally convey a message or have a theme,
Yeah, I bust your balls about it the same way Jeff busts my balls about the weather. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I do every obscure thing that you do like and recommend that I bust your chops over. At the end of the day,
It's pretty compelling.
well, it has a good message. It's always put off in a good way, and if you actually follow, it's like while everything might be kind of wild and weird and wacky, it's like the
you
end of
see
the
the
day,
quality and the
Yes.
integrity behind whoever made it, whether you agree with it or
is in
not.
the pudding.
There's an artist
To where
that was
you
really
haven't-
compelled to do that.
You haven't recommended one thing to me that either if I ended up being like, man, I'm not sleeping tonight. At the end of the day, I was like,
Thank
I
you.
loved
I'm
it.
glad I
It
could
was
help.
beautiful, and
I'm glad I could help.
yeah,
And I might mess, you watch things and be like, man, I wish I didn't watch that. And I feel that way
I
about
did
things
that
I
to
watched
you.
too. But it's like
I did that
want
to
the
you with
experience.
Mothman. It scared you too
You
much.
F Mothman, dude. It's a
It
joke.
just scared you too much.
It did scare me. I would say that for
Yeah,
you.
Aaron, he doesn't believe in Richard Gere. Can you believe that?
I believe in Richard
You don't
Gere.
believe in it.
I believe in gerbils and Richard Gere and everything.
Yeah, he didn't. He
Okay.
watched Mothman and was
Has
totally
he
unimpressed.
seen Mothman?
Yeah, he have you?
Me?
Mothman Prophecies?
Have you?
No.
Go watch
No,
it tonight.
I'm not a
Don't
movie
let your
guy,
kids in
man.
the room.
If you want
I'm
to,
a
that's
documentary
great.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a documentary. It's
Oh, it is?
encapsulated.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. No, you
it's
have fun.
factual.
Mikey has like an 80% hit rate with like he'll let me know about some movie that I didn't know about. I'm like, damn, I didn't know, and it's phenomenal.
Really? Oh yeah, he's a movie guy too, right?
Yeah,
Hello.
But I'm like, it's let you know that Mothman's not one of those.
He said I have an
Okay.
80% hit rate.
And I'm honestly, I'm giving you a conservative. I would lower it, but I love you. Even if you, and this is just for me, not general, but for me and what hits me, he's like, oh, I found a movie Matthew would like what did the first foreign film that really connected us?
Fury of a
Fury of a
ang-
Patient Man.
Yeah, or the anger of
It's Fury of a Patient Man,
yeah.
some foreign film. I was like, damn, Mikey like this? Okay. And then recently
Wow.
the whole super dark times.
Yes.
Very powerful.
So you're turning
And,
into foreign films, Mikey.
no, but that was actually not
You're
foreign.
turning into the foreign.
I'm introducing them to. The thing about foreign films is a lot of it they get funding to make, because in the States they wouldn't get a return on this crap and they wouldn't fund it. But there's like government funding and all this crap to where these artists are given money to make money. You were like, well, who's paying
dude,
for that?
You know the CIA funds Hollywood to
yeah.
message.
Yeah, but that's for their agenda. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
wild.
totally.
I mean, it's like out in the open too. Like,
Yeah.
it's come out. Like
like
And
you never
again, that's
thought
why
about
it's
that.
like looking for foreign shit is a way to see some unique artists that are actually given money in
Yeah.
a budget to do stuff
Right.
that would never get funded over
Different.
here.
and not necessarily
like
a
you said,
narrative.
that Enter the Void. That Enter the Void, man. That thing was wild. And I
Yeah,
still remember that.
You
That
remember
was
the money
years
that
ago.
didn't get a return, and he's made other
And then
shit, But
13
yeah.
hours. The guy that like got his arm caught in a boulder and had to
Oh
cut it
yeah,
off.
yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I would have just said, "Fuck it, man. I'm gonna die with both arms, buddy."
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
But
what you would have
I
done.
said, "You not gonna catch me looking like a fool in a coffin with one arm, or
Yeah,
out on the
that's true.
streets. You gonna catch me right here, dead between this rock."
yeah. And how would Trump respond?
I said, "I've been caught between a lot of worse places than this measly little rock.
I've been shot at.
I've been shot. They took a shot at me.
Twice.
I would have lifted.
Twice.
I'd have lifted this rock. That's right. Today I was trying to just play golf. I was trying to hit a couple balls, and
With two
some guy."
arms.
I had both of them because I don't put myself in spots like that. Whenever I get benched, I lift the weight. And today I was golfing, and somebody was a dickhead, and they tried to take another attempt. But they won't tell you that. The fake news isn't going to say that. Let me tell you guys, and I'm going to tell you
These
about
guys
what's
back here, these guys back
they're
here,
not going to
that's
tell you.
fake.
These guys, you don't look at them. I don't want to put them on camera, but these guys, you see them. But I don't. Not good people. Nasty people. Nasty.
Nasty woman, nasty people.
Nasty people. Real
Yeah.
nasty. Like Rosie O'Donnell. Not a good person.
And they're not gonna eat your dogs and cats. They might, but who knows?
No, they're doing it. Cincinnati, look out, Clown Man. Soft Max Plus. Watch out.
Yeah,
They're
my
out
wife
there
was
eating your
showing
dogs.
because she just gets down the rabbit hole of shit I don't care about, like TikTok.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
been so many
Who doesn't?
remixes and stuff about that whole
Oh,
him
yeah.
talking about it. They're funny, but it's like totally taken out of context, which is fine. But there's some funny shit that people have been making.
know what's
I
funny?
refuse to want to look at it, but my wife, for her, part of her relationship, I have to
Yeah.
acknowledge
course
some
you
of
do.
the shit
Her
she likes.
existence.
And I can say this because she didn't even watch this, so I'd be like, yeah, but I'd tell her, it's like, it's making you dumber and it's stupid and it's no effort and it blah blah. But I watch it. But
You know
I
what
give
I
her
would
like a
say to
3
you,
video
though?
maximum. I'd be like, I'm only gonna watch 3 of these today, so be careful with the ones you want to show me.
Yeah, but you're training AI. She's showing stupid videos, and you're training Skynet.
I mean, if
I'm just saying.
I could give you an in-depth response.
I'm just saying.
To,
I'm gonna be
to
out
that
front.
and why it doesn't matter, and what. But I don't need to go there.
But it's okay. I'm okay with having to show up on my dirt bike and my jean jacket.
No,
vest
that's cool. That's cool.
and having to take you to
That's
the
cool.
gallery.
I'm gonna make my own like 2-hour AI episode because
love
it's
it.
bad. It's bad.
No, I love
it's
it.
bad
so
for me.
we're talking about. You did bring up
So
the Trump
Aaron,
thing.
yeah, what did
you
Aaron
brought up?
talk
You,
about?
well, no, you brought up the Trump thing. You brought up. He did get. You heard that he did get shot at today. Or at least
Yeah, I
the
didn't know that.
CIA or
See,
the
I'll talk about
FBI
it.
is treating it as though it is an assassination attempt.
It's better for
Or
Or
either
Canada,
they
though.
attempted it themselves. Who knows?
Something, but I heard
It would
what
be
was
great
the
for publicity
could
to have
look
it
up. Let's
staged.
look it up. Do the best we can to find what we can find on the internet. But apparently, he was on a golf course today. It's a relevant fact. We're going to talk about the news.
Trump.
He was
Trump.
on the golf course today. Golf
I'll
course.
just see what it brings up here. This should be quick. FBI investigation apparent assassination attempt of Trump in Florida. 5
it
things
is.
to know about the apparent. So here, let's see what this AP,
AP.
says. 5 things
The
to know
AP.
about the apparent assassination attempt of Trump at one of his golf courses.
Because I have many golf courses.
I can read this if you want.
They're the best in the world.
Do you want
I
me to-
just
do you
want-
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. I'm a good reader. Sometimes.
Better than me.
Let's hear it. Let's
Former
hear it.
President Donald Trump is safe, following what the FBI says appears to be an attempted assassination, while playing golf 2 months after another attempt on his life at a rally in Pennsylvania. We know about that. Local authorities said the U.S. Secret Service agents protecting Trump fired at a man pointing an AK-style rifle with the scope at Trump as he was playing on one of his Florida golf courses in West Palm Beach. Here are 5
curious,
things to know.
What is an AK style?
Yeah, I don't
Weapon.
know.
It's just a generic description that's somebody doesn't know much
A
about. guns
magazine
gave.
fed rifle, I imagine. An
So they
AR.
have no clue what it was.
This
No.
is
Like
yeah.
an
Somebody
AK
they don't even know.
style.
They should have just said like
It was probably a high. It was probably a high point 9mm.
yeah. It's just it was a scary looking potentially fully automatic rifle. This is probably what they
probably
that's
shot
a lot
some-
of words,
yeah.
right? So number one, who's the suspect? Law enforcement officials said the man who pointed the rifle was arrested as Ryan Wesley Ruth. The officials identified the suspect to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the investigation. So, records show that Ruth, 58 man, lived in North Carolina for most of his life before moving in 2018 to Hawaii, where he and his son operated a company building sheds, according to an archived version of a webpage for his business. So there's more stuff.
So how did
about
this
him.
guy get radicalized?
Who knows? How did this happen?
He
is the
got
next
bored.
question.
He's 58, and he's like,
He got bored.
What has Trump said since the attempt is another thing. What is Vice President Kamala Harris saying?
You know, most people
What's
when they
next?
get
Yeah.
bored, they build pine cone birdhouses.
yeah.
You know, they
Not
take up
this guy.
normal hobbies. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna tell you all that. If there's some weird shit they say I did,
Yeah.
it's a fucking lie. I'm gonna be
Kamala's,
building.
ex-
I'm gonna be putting peanut butter on
Oh, yeah.
pine cones and hanging them with fishing line outside.
And I guess Kamala's ex-Twitter account, which, you know, somebody runs that for, but what
Oh,
they
yeah.
chose to say is,
Not
I'm
me.
glad he is safe. Violence has no place in America.
Yeah, we should.
For even
fucking
like
sure.
anyone, they could have done a better job
Yeah.
of creating
America
a
was
response.
built on violence. What are you
It
talking
just
about?
shows how, yeah, but it shows how the liberals
Yeah.
in a bad, unintelligent place.
You know, they're really in a bad spot, not to interrupt you, but
No,
they're
I'm
really
done.
in a bad spot whenever Kamala Harris is like, fucking, I'm sorry, but I don't care you're right, left, anything. If you don't recognize that name dropping Dick fucking Cheney in a debate is a bad move, bro, where the fuck have
That's
you
what
been?
I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
The whole people running the
Republicans-
show are doing a shit job.
Republicans, Democrats, everybody is pretty much united on the fact that Cheney and Bush are fucking, bro.
War criminals.
They're yes,
Yeah.
dickheads,
They-
and you're sitting here being like, Dick Cheney,
They
the
helped
late great.
the
It's
military
like
industrial complex, and they benefited off it.
Dick Cheney shot
Oh,
a man
yeah.
in the
Oh,
face
yeah.
with a shotgun, and the fucking guy apologized to Cheney. The dude was like, "Hey, sorry, dude, that I got in your way, and you shot, and you look like a dick," but he shot him in the face.
Yeah, her bringing
how do
up
we get
stuff
to
is
that
almost
level?
like
Yeah.
as out of it as Biden is, maybe
Bro.
he would have been better.
That just goes to show you that it's like, man, it's all the same deal.
And it's quite a show.
It's
I
all
just
the
look at
same
it as
deal.
a show.
man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's a show.
Yeah.
And don't get
Well, I
involved
don't
in
watch
it. At
it.
the
I
end,
turned it off a while back.
yeah.
Oh, I don't watch it at all.
No.
I just learn things from people.
You see
generally.
enough. You just see snippets on the news, and you know that it's like, oh, it's more of the same shit I've been seeing my whole life.
Exactly.
And, and you know,
And whatever
you
the
hate to
news is
see-
showing me, it's like, okay, there's way more to it that they're not showing
And I,
us. So whatever.
and I hate to see young people and other
They
people, not
believe
only
it.
just
It's
young
sad.
people, but there's other people that should know better, but they just buy into it, and you start looking at your, people would literally under COVID and stuff. We're looking at their neighbors different over things, and during the Trump election, you see, if you saw, it was just they just create this whole atmosphere where shit is just not friendly and it's not okay. And at the end of the day,
it's not even true.
and it- yeah,
But they
and it's not.
immediately they see it in
No.
the scroll and they believe it.
yeah, and people don't scroll past the
I'm
headline. We
having
know
help
that.
train my wife to like be critical and question everything, every post, and like
But-
fact check deep because no, still just believe in the society. And she's older, bigger kids. They'll see it and they'll just think it's true. They won't think to dive
Yeah.
into it to even try and validate it. And that's sad. So I'm having to actively try and help my wife be more critical.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's funny because you hear about all this shit going on in the news, and then you walk outside and nothing's fucking happening.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah, like you said, you hear all of this fervor and like what's going on, and then you walk out and your neighbor's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy weather we've had. I've just been watering the yard nonstop.
I just
Yeah,
washed
it's
my
hot.
car and then it rained.
Yeah. Oh man. Kids are growing up so fast.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's all the same old shit. So yeah, no, it's exactly. It's like people buy into it too much, and it's like, look, man, just
It's
For
only
me,
real.
it's just like the youth that I'm worried about because they're
Yes.
growing up. The
We just
future
hate
of
to see
America
that.
is growing up just being dumb.
when you hate to see the people that buy into it to the point where, like, for instance, you saw the thing in Ohio, while there's all the theories out there of the possibilities, if you're going off the surface level, some guy took an attempt at Trump's life, and it's like, at the end of the day, he thought that Trump was a bad enough person that it was worth his life to go take another person's life, and it's not worth it. It's not.
And
It's
he was
not
a
worth
product of
a
social
product
media
of
last 10 years. Right?
exactly because he was very young and an adolescent
Exactly.
whenever Trump was in like 2016, I believe, when he was going into office or attempting to run. And it just goes to show you that it's like, people need to be more careful with, not only just careful with what they say, but also just more intentional and understands, like, some people might not be able to pick up on the fact of, like, hey, just because this person maybe thinks different doesn't mean that they don't have a right to say what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
and
Well,
again, like,
everything nowadays, everything's getting entrenched and it's pushing people to extremes because
Yeah, it's
people feel
polarizing
angry,
us.
they're upset. Everybody feels
polarizing us.
threatened.
It's terrible.
And you know what I do to that? Because it's easy to get caught in that. And what I did is I turn all that off and I just go start a garden.
Yeah.
Just grow my own food. And it's
Amen.
like,
Yeah, exactly. You just go out and do your
Yeah.
own little therapy.
Amen.
yep. And what's cool
Yeah.
is a lot of people, as Buddha called us, what are we, elder millennials? Is that
Yes.
what are we?
Yeah.
Yes,
Elders
we're elder
Funny, it's like, I
millennials.
guess we are. That, you know.
Like a lot of them are going back to kind of the way our great grandparents lived. Like everybody's got gardens in their backyard now. Like everybody. Like
Mhm.
our parents did not do that. Maybe a few here and there, but now it's like everybody's kind of going back because there's the vibrations are a bit off, So everybody knows
Absolutely.
that. So they got to get back to their roots. No matter what side you're on, like the vibe is way off. And
Yeah.
I think everybody feels that.
Try
You're
and
going
be
back to nature.
self-sustaining as
Yes.
the best you can.
Yes.
And personally, I think that was one of the main motivating factors behind behind the way that we handled COVID, the Schmovid deal. It's like, I don't want to bring it up, but at the end of the day, I feel like the way that we handled that whole thing was specifically to keep people from being able to just talk and be able to bridge that gap and come to an understanding
Yeah.
and not have everybody be so polarized. Because it was when Trump was coming in, all this and and it's like, I feel like all that was purpose. It was, there was a purpose behind it about how it was handled by the mainstream narrative. It wasn't, so that's just kind of my theory on that stuff. But one thing that's interesting about that is weren't you up
Oh, yeah.
in Canada when all that was going off?
Bro,
And that was
you don't want to get into that.
That was a hell of a
But
different.
the way it affected your life is, if you don't
That
talk
was
about it, you
all-
don't have to.
That was a hell of
But
a
if
lot
you want
different
to,
than
people
how it
don't
was
even
affecting our life. Yeah, you don't have to say anything about it, but like,
Just the way
if you-
I'll
globals
go on
in
and on
different
about it.
countries.
if you want to briefly touch on about just how extreme it was, so that some
like
people
another
know,
country, the way they
like,
handled it.
Yeah.
you don't have to go into your opinion on it, but just how it was actually the reality of what life was like.
Are we gonna?
Even
I mean, I'm
all the well
obviously
after
here, so
the
you know
rest
what
of
my opinion is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know the opinion, but it was the Canadians had a way that they handled COVID. Like a bunch
so
of
we were
European
living-
countries had shit.
well
so,
after
yeah.
we were out of it, well after we were done.
Yes.
So.
Oh, we were living in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, right? So that's like government city. And everybody there is working in some way for the government. And then that's unpredictability. No one would have predicted that Mikey would just walk off.
Yep,
I'm
he's
just
having
kidding.
to re-up on his motivation.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. No, but we
They
were
keep
up
going because
there
I'm about to grab a
and
couple of drinks, but I'm listening too.
I'm here. No, I just walked out. I'm listening.
Yeah.
You were saying you were in Ottawa at the time, which is the capital of Canada.
no, I was just playing. But yeah, as soon as it happened, they're like, "Oh, we all got to start doing this," and I was just immediately like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna do whatever I want." And it was 2 weeks, and then it turned into more and more. I was working for the government at the time, or I worked for the U.S. Embassy at the time, and then I worked for the Canadian government. But during that time, they were everything was locked down. You couldn't go anywhere, and then it was like, okay, they're gonna open it up. Oh no, they're not. It's getting bad, and it just kept on and on. It turned into 2 years that our kids weren't at school. We weren't allowed to go anywhere, and it was crazy. And people were turning against each other. Like, people were getting very strong opinions either way. Well, mostly everybody was going along with the program because Canadians by nature are a little more, they're trusting of their governments. So whatever they're told to do, they fall in line, especially in the government city though.
And I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, but I want, before I forget, like something you had just mentioned right there. It was like talking about, you were saying about how it was like 2 years pretty much that this went on and whatnot. And it's like, shit, I might have already lost it. Number one, 2 years is a long fucking time to go under an adjustment like that, especially whenever it's like you have kids as well.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
So you're bringing up adolescents that are like in a world that's like, number one, you're having to adjust for the social norm that's totally outside of what you're used to. Because you're figuring it out as you went along as well.
Sure, but so what we did is our kids were at home having to do school, and we're at home having to work. And like, I don't know if you've ever tried that. 2 kids, 2 jobs with 4 people.
I haven't had one
chaos.
Kid. I couldn't imagine.
It was crazy, dude. And then for that long a time, and you can't go anywhere. But we had a family like right down the street. They were good friends of ours. Like, we didn't abide by the rules. Like, our kids got together all the time. We got together all the time, and like we made it through. And but eventually we made the decision, like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame you, but man, what was it I was gonna say? You had mentioned it was actually a good thing because it's like, it was just like a good perspective because it was something we had talked about. And it was something about more or less about how it was handled in Canada, which I thought was interesting. Number one, I remember talking to you whenever everything back here in Texas was normal and stuff was still like totally not normal there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was wild. People were turning on each other. Like, if you didn't go along with it, dude, there were people like trying to disown you, and like they wanted you to jail.
That's what I was going to say.
Crazy.
So I feel like what happened is, and this isn't just isolated to Canada, but you said something that made me think of it. It's like what happened is people ended up getting lost in the point of, they got lost in what I believe to be just false narratives all around, where they would argue over. I'm arguing that, no, well, they said that it spreads like this. Well, no, it can't spread like that. And it's like, we were arguing over these stupid narratives that were false from whatever angle.
They weren't even confirmed.
When it's like, well, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Rather than looking at it like, what is this doing on other levels? Is this even necessary? What have we done in the past whenever we've experienced things like this? And it's like, I think that was one of the, that's why I say one of the main motivating factors of being like, everybody stay away from everybody. I think that was because it was like, you wanted to scare the shit out of people and also make them like, not just to be able to have that normal social dialogue that you might have, and almost make it to where you isolated all the dialogue to the computer and social media. And we already know how when somebody can, your best friend, somebody you know really well, can put something up and it can be misinterpreted on social media.
Yeah.
And you could be like, oh my God, this liberal fucking, or this right-wing extremist.
Behavior's translated
and you're like,
to whatever their political affiliation is now.
And so it's like you just get so misinterpreted. And at the end of the day, it's like none of like for the majority of us have no say in any of this shit. No. We can do what we want. We can, and the only thing I think we can do, and the best thing we can do is talk to each other about it and not get caught up. I at the end of the day, I could give a shit who you vote for. I'm glad you're doing it. You obviously care enough to give it a shot and to go participate. I could give a shit though. I don't care. I don't. I really like.
Well, it's
I didn't vote for her.
But these people, I mean, it's almost a uniparty. They're all in the same group, and we're just
that's yours.
We're not
like
even
you said,
living
it's a
in the same
uniparty.
world.
That's what I felt like the other night when I saw whenever it was like Kamala Harris was like, "Oh, Dick Cheney." I was like, "Oh, fucking shit!" I'm like,
don't
Bush.
know what they're doing.
I just had flashbacks. Bush, Cheney, like, because I grew up, and that's one crazy thing I'd like to almost do a full episode or an iceberg on is the fact that I remember growing up in those days.
Yeah, because you're like 8 years younger than me.
Oh, dude.
Because I was in high school when 9/11 happened.
I remember like the way
I was
all
at
of that
MCC,
was.
man, going to college.
Dude, that was a fucking blur. I just remember it was like George Bush versus who was it? Kerry or who was the first time he ran against?
Gore.
Yeah.
He ran against Gore, and then no time later it was like Bush wins, fucking war, hell yeah. Woo!
Yeah, the Metallica things that they do with the Seek and Destroy.
I'm like, oh my God.
We had an enemy, our war, to even make it more popular.
All of a sudden,
like,
all my older brother's
sense.
friends were signing up and going off to war and fuck. I was like, oh my God.
I get the motivation. I mean, this guy signed up for whatever reason, with late in life, which is so fascinating as far as your character and who you are.
Yeah, dude.
That you got
fascinating.
You got a degree, got a job, and I just felt like, this is cool. It's kind of boring.
This motherfucker.
Now I signed up to be a Marine.
This dude
in my late 20s.
This dude treated this guy.
He had to be at the end of the acceptance.
He was in the army, and this guy got treated. This motherfucker treated like being in the army and being in the war. Not only the army, but can we mention who you were with?
Yeah.
The 10th Mountain Division. He wasn't just with the Army.
Yeah.
He's with the 10th Mountain Division. It's like he treated this shit like a fucking summer job one time. I was like, he's like, oh yeah, I went and did this. I went and did this for a while.
It's like
and
he
it's
was
like,
bored outside being a soldier
shit.
in a time of quote unquote war.
And now he's like, oh yeah, I did that for like, I don't know, 4.5, 5 years. Fuck man, I don't know. And now he's like, I do this. I love it. But no,
I love it too. It's just I think of it just like you get bored of something and then you just move on to something else.
No, it's beautiful because he doesn't stay
is.
stuck in it. He doesn't stay stuck in the past.
That's
and what
life
was.
is.
What's your philosophy on that? Being a vet and being like going from all that shit to where you are now.
Man. Well, I was. I went over to Afghanistan and all that. And one thing, you're kind of all like, America, fuck yeah. Then you get over there and it's like, wait a second, they're throwing rocks at us, and we're just like, what?
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
Like, what are we doing over here? And you get to looking around, and it's like, these people aren't a threat to us. Like, which ocean are they going to cross to get to us? Like, these people, like, come on. And then you realize what's going on, like, and now I work at a school, and the kids will ask me, like, hey, why does America go to war? And it's like, oh, because they got something we want. We go take it. And
or there's the political agenda that it supports someone who's trying to be empowered.
Yeah, and
but not because the country deserves it.
War. Yeah, any war, they're like, go for it. And I'm telling you, man, you don't want that. Like, how many people got, like, their lives and bodies just mangled over there, and then they just handed it right back to them. Like,
for nothing.
Yeah,
this is all a
political agenda
and
people in power.
It's a scam. It's a scam, and they're sending our kids out to go do it.
Yeah, and it's like a scam they started like 20 years ago, and then all of a sudden they're like, we kind of outran the scam.
Whenever we pulled out, like, literally, have you seen the plane footage of people like
holding
trying
on
to
the
get
planes?
out and like falling off? It's like, we're pulling out. We'll help some of you. And people are like trying to pile onto the plane, and they're falling off as it's taking off.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
That they probably set that up and rehearsed it a few. I mean,
you think so?
Stuff would. I don't believe anything that comes out of that box.
All right.
Yeah, I don't disagree necessarily, honestly. I mean, it's
No,
interesting
that's a good
perspective.
perspective to have.
Yeah, because we would go over there and do some stuff, and like something we had the Afghan National Army was out in front of us, and man, these guys, I mean, they were heroin addicts, dude. We'd be out there with them,
Yeah.
and they would like pull out some heroin, like it's like, no, dude, I'm good now. Maybe later.
You're like, I'm trying to go home.
These are the guys we're training to be able to manage their country.
Aaron, he's like, I got plans of going home, buddy. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
But the Afghan National Army, they would treat the people like shit. And it's like, man, as soon as we leave, y'all are fucked.
It's like you're not adequately prepared to even be a soldier, and you're
well,
just...
we were sitting with him one time, and he had his AK just on his knees, and we're all sitting around. We were patrolling a village, and this dude just bang, like accidentally shoots it, and like we're all just looking at him, and his friends like, and we're like,
he's like, it happens.
Dude,
and you're like, no, it doesn't. Yeah, you're like, no, it doesn't just happen. It doesn't.
No.
We're gonna take this, and you're gonna go fucking sit over there.
Yeah.
That's
but
wild,
then, like,
dude.
they spent all that money, dude. You know what they did when we left? All of the stuff, we were closing down a fob.
We just left it, didn't we?
They threw it in a ditch and used bulldozers to cover it up, and just left that shit.
Dude,
like
I know.
tons of. I mean, like what? Like
The
at
money
least
that
bomb
went
it,
into it,
so
yeah,
you can't
it's
use
crazy.
it.
Yeah, blow it up, light it on fire or
Yeah.
something. They're just like, we're gonna hide it.
Yeah, the money was already spent on the budget.
Yeah.
It was written off. It didn't matter anymore. So there's no value in trying to salvage it. And so it's like, oh, we'll just leave it there, kind of try and disarm it. But there's shit that they probably left that they're able to utilize and all that. But this is the
there's
mindset.
no reason. There's no reason we should be over there meddling in other people's affairs.
No, fuck no.
It's such a scam.
We got enough shit going on here.
Well, you look at even the COVID thing, whatever side you're on it, that it was the largest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich.
Yep.
Ever.
You're not wrong.
And
You're
it's
not
like,
wrong about that. You can
whatever that is, that's evil, man. That's not
cut
good.
it any way you want it. There was people were playing an angle. And they saw an opportunity. Somebody saw an opportunity and they took it.
Well, just like this Russia-Ukraine thing, they're trying to get everybody to fly the Ukraine flag and be all for it. But when you look at it, we promised Russia, hey, we're not going to move NATO any closer to you. Now
It all comes back to NATO in that Minsk agreement.
Surround them. Now we're trying
it all
to
comes down to the NATO and the Minsk agreement.
And it's like Putin isn't a fucking puppy, but at the same time, you try and make him look like all of his shit is irrational in the way he acts. But it's like y'all are sitting there poking. Yeah, and you poke.
It all comes down to the NATO shit about whoever's like signing into it. The whole,
It was supposed to be Germany. And they came together, but now we're Poland. They got Finland. Now they're wanting to get.
And every country's supposed to contribute so much, and
they're all surrounded.
Hardly any of them are even contributing. It's us, and Trump has called that out, which is cool. He's like, "You guys aren't contributing like supposed to, so we're not gonna help you if you don't start paying your bill, because we've been paying the bill for everybody." And that's what the whole Ukraine thing was like. It all really just comes down to NATO and them wanting to not.
That was an embezzlement.
And it's right. I respect them. That they shouldn't have to be a part of it. But there's so much to the story. Of course, nobody gets or sees, and it's sad because so many people are dying in Ukraine and Russia, soldiers, for something so pointless. It's really sad.
And at this point in warfare, now, I'm sorry, I'm going to come out and say it, and no disrespect to you having fought in war, but I feel like
I hate soldiers.
The further we get and go on, the less and less like honor there is in what the fuck is happening on a battlefield. There's no, at least at one point, you had guys that were meeting each other on even ground, and like it came out to who the best of the best was, whether it was sword fighting or gunfire or trench warfare. It was my skills versus your skills, our vigor versus yours, and your reaction, all of that, right? But at this point, it's not. It's guys out there on patrol, and then somebody flying a fucking drone with something strapped to it, and it's like 8 people dead.
Yeah.
No,
and it's it's there's nothing in that, bro. And there's no you're flipping a coin. You're flipping a coin at that point when you're going to war is to be like, maybe I get seen by the eye of Sauron, and then all of a sudden it's just like you're fucking dead. Because once that infrared eye sees you, it's like, oh hey, what are you doing? That's cool. You and your 8 buddies. What you got in your hand? That a stick? Nope, it's a rifle.
Yeah.
Dead.
Well, my whole philosophy on that is non-interventionist. Like, there is no reason for us to go halfway around the world and mess with a bunch of people who have no way of getting to us.
But like you said,
There's no
someone,
reason for
if
that.
there's a benefit, some power.
Because you're destroying
behind it.
families, man.
Yeah.
You're going to kill
Yeah.
dad, and then they're left. I mean, these are people, too.
You're
And,
creating,
You're creating more
them.
problems.
They see that happens to the
Martyrs
enemy.
and-
Yeah.
You're
But
creating
what
awful.
you were saying, it is this kind of, I can bring it.
We're here to create order.
Yeah, part of just warfare in general, or going back, even in modern warfare, like requiring people on the ground in foot soldiers, whatever the studying psychology about, even with the enemy, people intentionally don't try and accurately hit them a lot of times. Do you go back
Yeah,
to
World War
warfare?
II. Yeah.
Yeah, where there's a
missing.
thing where they would intentionally miss because taking
don't
a
wanna
human
kill
life
somebody.
and they don't even know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
Both sides would do it, right? And there's
Yeah.
been cool sci-fi stuff that's been made about putting sitting soldiers to where it literally what they see is some weird alien and it dehumanizes them, and so they're way
Yeah,
more
that's
efficient.
exactly what they do. Yeah.
And but so it's interesting. So we don't want people on the ground having a fight, but there's people are still prone to a lot of them not try their best to kill somebody. But now with technology being where it is, where humans be taken out of the equation, it's scary because the powers can drone do whatever, and they can make sure all these people don't die that shouldn't.
Yeah.
They get to create whatever narrative, but now the technology is oh sweet, our soldiers don't have to fight and die, which is great, But when that was happening, at least some lives were being saved because human nature would intervene. That I'm not gonna try my best to kill these people, but
Yeah.
now the people in power have technology. It's oh yes,
Well,
we
that's
don't
like-
have to have humans anymore, but they're gonna wipe out people.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
with no. So that's the whole thought. That was
Yeah, you take away, it's like almost taking the umpire out of baseball where you take the human element out of it. You take the
Yeah.
discretion out of it. Then it's just a robot. It can't make some of those calls where there's those gray areas where
And of
it's
course,
like,
society likes it. I don't have to worry about my son going to war, which is
Yeah.
great. I don't have to worry about someone fighting, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But they don't realize the power that they have to actually do so much damage
oh yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
shouldn't
it's
be
crazy.
across the world.
and
but
how
they're given
more-
a narrative that makes them think it's
Well, they don't
justified.
realize how more how more dangerous that damage is because it's like they don't people. If you're on the other end of a computer screen, it's very different.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
almost to some people it could be similar to a video game
Dude, it might as well
where
be.
it's like
To
it
the
doesn't
drone
even.
people
They might
playing,
not. I don't know. I'm
they're
just
like good
guessing.
gamers.
I'm just guessing. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I haven't been there and done that. So that's just a
Dude,
guess.
Well, I'll tell
I
you
have a
this,
buddy-
man. I'll tell you this. Anytime they're trying to sell another war, don't buy it, man.
Fuck
there is
no.
no reason. There is no reason.
Uh-uh.
I'm all about self-defense, but even now they'll create. Most of these wars are based on red flags, like even the Vietnam War, the Bay of Tonkin, like all this stuff. Even the War of 1812 when they blew up our own ship and blamed it on the Spanish or the Spanish-American War, whichever one it was. They're always doing that shit to make it look like, oh, look, we got attacked. We're in the right. We got to go
Yeah.
do this.
They're literally creating a narrative
Yeah,
by doing
yes.
actual
Yes.
terrible shit.
Yes. And guess what? A bunch of well-meaning people in the military have to go die for that.
Yeah.
No, exactly. A bunch of regular
That's
people
just
that
dirty.
shouldn't. So I have a question. Get off on another topic
Yeah.
because we talked about war for a little bit.
There we go, yeah.
And this has been interesting. But you said so. Do you got any UFO stories? You seen anything? We talk about UFOs here a lot, and this is one of your first times here.
All the time.
This is one of your first times here.
UAP, I say just to be more
Yeah,
progressive.
go ahead.
whatever,
Go
but
ahead.
UAP, but
Yeah.
UFO.
No, I love it. No, a UAP is the thing, but at the end of the day, let's understand our roots, and it's a damn
UFO. I'm team
unidentified.
UFO, man.
Yeah, unidentified flying
No, but
object.
The government
buddy.
acknowledged it. They had to separate from the kookiness and
Yeah,
history of it, so they
uh-huh.
had to come up with another term.
Yeah,
so
because I think
they've
the
done that
reason
for like climate. It's not global warming anymore. It's climate change.
I see it as that it's like other people got out in front of it and they're like UFO, and then they're like, no, we're gonna create a new tagline, UAP, and it's like, shut up, we had it first. You want to distance yourself from the little green men, but they are here.
But
It's
you
all
know
about
what?
the
You know why
optics
they're
and
doing
the
that?
narrative and
You
shit.
know why
But
they're
why?
doing that?
Why is that?
I think they're doing it is because an unidentified flying object indicates that it's a physical object. A UAP could be like
It's
a light
wider net.
beam. Yes.
It's serious. It's because it literally is a better description because
It could be
we
also
don't know if
like
it's an
he
object.
says. But okay, but it's
We don't know
better-
if it's flying.
But
We know
it's-
it's there. We don't know if it's
it's-
technically
it's-
flying in the way you understand
it's
it.
better,
but you don't know if
but
you can touch it.
I was gonna say it's better.
It's a
but-
phenomenon.
No, but it's leaving. What he's trying to say is that it's leaving room for deception. because you had unidentified flying object, which indicated something from somewhere else that's here, but unidentified aerial phenomena leaves room for deception
We sent
from
up
other
the bat
things.
signal.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's almost saying where there could be powers that be that create fake shit,
Of
or that
course.
create other.
They always
And-
create
and-
fake shit.
No, I agree
Yeah.
with
Everything
it.
they do
And
is
I'm
yeah,
just
but
saying,
that's what-
separating from that, I just think it's a better description encompassing the wider reality of what it could be. Of course, there's reasons and agendas, but separating that, just the description, I think it's more encompassing and better, regardless of why they changed it
But
that
I'm
or
team
not.
UFO. No matter what, I'm UFO.
No, it's
team.
fine, which is good. I want y'all to be
not
that
to
way.
get hung up on it too much, but
Yeah,
the reason I am that team is because I do believe that when you allow somebody to decide language and the language you go by, they decide the battlefield and how it's fought. So if you're sitting there allowing, it's like, I do agree that what you're saying, it is I 100% agree, it's more all encompassing, but also too, I see what Aaron means, because it's like, it's also leaving room for where it's like, is it something physical, or is it something just like a beam of something? It's a phenomena. It's a spirit.
Light
is it like
could be from another dimension. Who knows?
the same way that people look at like orbs on their cameras? They're like, oh, what is that?
It's like, that's your camera creating an artifact.
Yeah.
They don't know that.
Yeah, and they're like, no, man, I'm getting heavy. I'm getting a lot of EMP footage here.
Oh, no. And that, to me, is great. I love
my meter's buzzing.
y'all caring about that much.
Yeah. No, I see your
my
point.
I did see your
perspective matter.
video, Mikey.
You
I did
saw
see
it?
your video, Mikey. I did. The one with the thing in the sky.
You like that?
I could barely see it, but I did see it glow, and then it got real dim. So what I saw when I was in Canada, I was putting my daughter to bed, and it was nighttime, obviously. I look outside, and it was just a star. You know, there's stars everywhere. Well, I'm looking at this one star, and it kind of goes a little brighter and then just disappears. And I was like, oh, wow, that's weird. And it's like, did I just see a star go out? Like, what are the chances of that are like next to nothing.
Yeah. Like, that witness, like, the death of a star.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, there's no way.
It happens, but the likelihood of... Yeah.
But then when we moved back here, this is probably about a year ago, maybe last summer, me and my wife are walking around, and we look up, and there's like bright stars, and one of them just gets real bright and then goes out. And it was like, oh, whoa. And I was like, did you see that? Like, yeah. Like, where did the star go? Like, it's gone.
See,
But
that's what
I've
I'm
had
saying.
that happen twice.
Dude,
this
and
guy...
I'm telling you, I'm like a fucking magnet. And see, I think that there's everybody who's listening to this, I just want to say, I think that there's a reason people like me see shit, because they're like, who's going to believe this fucking guy? Look at him. This guy's got a mullet and a mustache.
But that could be different. But
This old boy here, nobody's going to trust him. So let's just appear to him. You know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know. I could just be wrong. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not saying that. I mean, anybody can go see him, because I believe it's nothing I'm privy to. You just go out there and spend enough time looking, because that's the thing. I have more video on my phone of like a couple nights after I saw that meteor. After this point, from going and looking at different footage and looking at videos of meteor, I do believe that what I saw was a meteor.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is that what happened after it was all of the stuff I saw in the sky in the same direction.
Yeah.
A night I went back out, like the next night, saw nothing in that area. I watched for hours, nothing.
Yeah.
The next night I go out after that, nothing. A night later, I see something.
Yeah.
So I started seeing those beams of light come up and then disappear, come up, disappear. So
yeah.
And it's just interesting. I don't know if it's, like I said to you in the
whenever-
messages, I don't know if it's air
when you're
traffic.
done, can let me... I got something... I don't know if you thought about, but...
No, I
Let
mean,
me know when you're done.
I was just going to say that the way I've gone through trying to figure out what it could be is I'm like, okay, can it be airplanes? But the reason that I want to say no is the having planes that tight on a flight path together. Because at the rate I'm seeing, I'll see one pop up, get bright, disappear, and then another one right behind it. Sometimes they'll pop up two at a time and cross and then disappear.
Yeah.
And then I'll also see planes in that same direction, but they just stay beams of light that blink with the plane, like the little red light, and they just go out a distance like normal. So that's what I'm saying is weird, is because it's like I'm observing planes in that area, but then I'm observing something else that just lights up and disappears.
Yeah, you have a
lights up
reference
and
like,
disappears.
this is how normal planes behave, this isn't that.
And it's like, I'm just going through that whole thing where I'm still, okay, maybe it's a drone show that takes place twice a week in this certain part of town, and I just don't fucking know. But I've observed it a handful of times. I'm not saying it's fully, but at the end of the day, there's shit that's taking. There's all
No,
kinds
I
of weird
gotcha.
shit you can observe.
Okay, and so just kind of to be on brand, or not just getting back to, okay, like me and Mikey we got a book and we've read a lot about, out of body experiences, right? And about,
Okay.
ways to actually, have them, or the way historically all the documentation, there's a science and all this stuff about it, right? But one of the basic things is literally to just let in your mind believe it's possible, and just think, okay, yeah, because a lot of times people don't intend to have them, but like once they mentally accept that they're possible and kind of want them, it's been documented they're more than likely to have one. Like it's like their brain, is trained to like accept that this thing is real, possibly. To where it's all in my mind, it's almost like most people, the brain is shut off from that reality existing, right? But just thinking about it and just letting it know, like I could have one, it might happen, whatever. It can actually lead to it happening in a way, right? And so I'm just wondering, with the whole existence of whatever they are, like I don't even my narrative or thinking is what they are and how they're there, like. Who cares? It's like we'll figure that out. But my thinking is like if whatever they are, them not being just you totally believe that there's could be something there. It's like you've trained your body and brain to acknowledge them so much to where I don't know if like even visually, like things the mind actually sees and the way the eye edits things out and what we actually see versus what our brain interprets and allows us to see. Like there's truth behind that. Like, and even memory, people trying to remember things, like it's the way the brain works is it's crazy, but to where maybe theoretically it's automatically just tuning out certain things that are actually seeing.
Well, it
but like
does.
you're so
They're
open
designed to
into
conserve
believing
nature,
it. Exactly. To
Conserve
and maybe
energy,
theoretically, it's like you're letting your brain be like, I want to see these things. I believe they're real. I don't know what the agenda or anything is. To where all the shit. Maybe people aren't seeing it because their eyes, they're not perceiving it because their brain is a certain way.
Yeah.
And again, that's
Maybe.
just a weird theory that I was throwing out there.
It's an interesting theory.
And it connecting to the out of body experience
it's-
thing
'cause it all
about
could
literally
be-
opening your
yeah.
mind to let it allow
the possibility.
So there we go.
No,
That's
yeah,
it.
and I mean it's like you said about in that book to be able to that book we're reading about out of body experiences, and they were saying one of the ways to achieve it is it's like there's all these different methods, but they were saying at the end of the day, if you just kind of let yourself subconsciously start telling yourself that it's like, okay, maybe I'd like to experience that, or I'd like that to happen. And then you all of a sudden, it's like opening yourself up to that on some levels. Sometimes that's enough for some people to be able to experience something.
Exactly.
Just by being aware that knowing it exists.
Yeah,
just
and
by
believing
being
it.
aware that, you can, people that aren't dying, that are just going to sleep and take a nap can have that possibility of having that out of body experience.
And they might call it. They might think of it as NDE, or like a
Whatever.
near-death experience.
Yeah.
And there's a whole thing behind that. But that was just connecting the dot
No,
of
yeah.
how open you are to it and what the brain and
Yeah, and
actually
again,
does with vision and how you interpret things. That
And again, just so everybody knows,
know,
and because I
who
know
knows?
that we don't go it over every time I bring it up when we talk about UFOs, the very first time, the thing that sold me or that made me just be like, okay, there's a lot of shit we do not fucking know, and I've seen this. I've seen this
we don't know
one
anything.
time.
We don't know
I've
anything. Yeah.
No, and I've seen this one time. I've never seen it again, and it was like probably 12 to 13 years ago that I saw this. We're standing in my friend's driveway. We're standing in like a semicircle. I'm pretty much the way everybody else was. The guy to my right was pretty much looking towards the north. The guy to my left was pretty much looking towards the south. The person out in front of me was looking back towards the west. This person was looking back towards southwest. This person was looking direct west. So I'm the only
Great sense
one
of
looking.
direction, man.
I'm the
I love
only
it, dude.
one.
He's got a compass and the way he tracks things. It's
Dude,
great.
I'm the
It
only one.
helps, dude.
I'm the only one looking direct east. So everybody else is pretty much like we're in this circle, but to where I'm the only one that has this view
It's
of
a
the
quality
sky.
and characteristic, which is great to like observe directions and actually have
Oh,
a
yeah.
reference point. Because he lets me know like northeast, and he has a comp. It's great.
Yeah, so I'm
know?
standing there and I'm like, I'm just like, I'm kind of zoned out listening to my buddies talk, and I'm just staring up at the sky. was a nice night, not a cloud in the sky. And like I said, and before this, I was never really a sci-fi guy. I never really was like, oh, Star Wars shit, like fucking aliens, all that. No. I'm just standing there looking up at the sky, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, cool, shooting star. And it just goes from the left of my view, from the north to the south, but it just, in the middle of the sky, stops and doesn't move. So it was just hauling ass, looking like a shooting star, and then it stops. And I was like, I just kind of like, my jaw dropped, and I leaned forward.
Stayed lit?
Yeah, the whole time it was lit.
When it stopped? Okay.
The whole time it was lit, because that's why I leaned forward. I was like, dude.
And it begin to see implications of what could stop going that speed so quickly.
Exactly.
What's capable of actually doing that?
So here's my thing. Again, I see this thing going through the sky, and I'm like, oh, cool, shooting star, that's cool. And I went to I was like, I'm going to make a wish. And the fucking thing just goes and stops.
Yeah, it
and
did
I was
slowly
like,
decelerate. It went from full speed. It went from full speed to just stopping.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm just like in shock. And everybody in the circle was like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Did y'all fucking see?" And as I'm like saying, "Did y'all fucking see?" And I'm pointing. No, it goes as it was like going left to right and stopped. It just goes and shot off back to the right. And so as I'm like being like, "Did y'all fucking?" And it does it. I'm just like speechless. And they're all like, What do you mean? What happened? And I tried to explain it. They're like, okay, sure. Oh, yeah, you're just stoned or something. And I'm like, no, that was something. And so I ended up years later, there was a girl I dated. She had an uncle that worked for Raytheon. And I had a chance to talk to him or whatever. And it was like he was retired, whatnot. But either way, it was like I was talking to him about stuff, being like, you seem like you might entertain this question. What could I have fucking seen? What was that?
Like what's
and
capable
he was
of
saying,
aircraft
and I
we
told
have
him,
to have that behavior?
I told him what I saw, and he was like, whatever it was didn't stop. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, it didn't stop. He said, whatever you saw, no, he said it came at me. He's like, whatever you saw was going on one trajectory and then came at you. He's like, it never
stopped. Your perspective, you couldn't tell that.
Yeah. It was like, he was saying, it's like, there's nothing that can go. He's like, if you said it looked like a shooting star and it stopped, he's like, that's just not like the laws of physics and stuff. He was saying that it's like, that's not possible. And so he was saying that it's like, he was saying that laws of physics was, he's saying that it's, but it makes sense for him to say that it wouldn't just stop.
No,
but he was saying that like, it's traveling and then coming at you and then traveling off again, because that makes more sense.
It does
like,
make
oh,
sense.
Shit, like,
and again,
a physical object can't do it, but a UAP can.
Yeah,
or metaphysical.
But what I was going to say though, we
have a limit to our physics, and we understand. I'm just saying it could have been doing something that our laws of physics say it's not possible, and that's it.
No, I agree with that, but the reason I'm like trying to state, we have something to base what I potentially saw off of, which is the Tic Tac. The Tic Tac that they've seen the video evidence of our aircraft, or U.S. Army or whatever aircraft, Navy catching this Tic Tac, where the guy said it was just next to us, and then it's like boom, it's on the other side of us. And so that's what I meant about him saying where it's like, it can't just stop. It can just be over here. Is that it's like how the way it can move is that it's like we already have evidence to show that like there's something that it's like how can it be over here and then now it's over here, and it was like what the fuck, like where it looked like it was next to him the whole time, but maybe it was traveling. I don't know. But either way, I do agree with what you're saying that like our laws of physics don't dictate, but maybe they have something that can
just like the smartest person being like, that's not possible. This which makes sense.
Yes,
and they're like grounded in our science,
going off of what we have.
But being open to like, and AI will help us even expand what the laws of physics actually are and can be. But to who knows? But forget that. Forget that. I shouldn't even make that. It's pointless, right? But in just the reality of what the laws of physics to our realm of perception and things, it's like, that's not possible. But in my mind, just thinking, there's things that are possible that they could cross between the physical and metaphysical realm and all these things to where whatever it is, it could just be something that we cannot define based on the science we have. There's no way for us to make it make sense because it's something beyond our understanding. Because if we apply our scope of physics, whatever the limitation is say it's likely this or that, which it could be. But I'm just saying, considering the option of, our laws of physics are limited to our laws of physics.
Yeah, what we know.
And whatever else it could be. And that's it.
No, yeah. What do you think, Aaron?
I mean, I only saw those two things, but have y'all ever seen a ghost though?
Okay, no.
I love you bring that.
No, I love that because I have not.
You
but
were
I've
with me one
experienced.
I want to.
You were
Time
with
out.
me one time.
No, listen, I was not there. I was near. So before he goes into this, I have experienced something that I would have to agree that after this was my first encounter with something like this. But Aaron, I'll let you go ahead take the story because this is real and this is very fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So we were at a church in Waco. It's a church that's, you have your brick and mortar, and then they had a detached gym, and it's one of these like giant gym metal buildings with big clanky doors, that sort of thing. Well, Waco is dead at like midnight, 1 and 2 o'clock. Like there's nothing going on.
Yeah, this is
especially back in the
silos and all the shit that it's now.
Especially
Waco was not a big booming place.
Especially
was
back
way
in
different back
2000.
then, yeah.
Yeah, back in the 2000s,
Yeah.
he said, it was definitely dead at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in this church at like midnight, 1 o'clock, just being young kids playing around. I mean, we're teenagers. How old are we?
What y'all buffing? Y'all were buffing the floors, right? Y'all were cleaning the gym floors.
No. We were just messing around.
Okay.
Because it was like a weekend. And anyway, so big gym, nobody's there. It's just me, Chris, Caleb, I think, were the only 3 people in the gym. And Chris had like slammed his finger in a locker and like yelled out, he dropped an F-bomb in a church. As soon as he did that, I was standing by the front door. The door opens. This old woman walks in. And you got to remember, this is like 1 a.m. This old woman, like little bob haircut, just walks in, turns, looks at me, doesn't say a word, and then just turns and walks off.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
she
shit.
look just like a person, or did she have
No,
a
it's just a
ghostly
person.
whiteness to her?
No,
so
no,
literally
it was
just
a person.
Like
it was a person that walked in.
through there.
Okay. And my reaction was, I ran back to her. I was like, hey, Chris, some old lady just walked in because he yelled F in a church, So it was like, oh, you're going to get in trouble, dude. That was my thought. And then we come out and we're like looking for her. We never see her. We never hear the doors open. We open the doors. There's nothing in the parking lot.
Like, do you
And then
remember what she was wearing?
Well, I just remember it was an old woman, like glasses, like kind of the shortcut here.
Yeah.
And
I'm just thinking of the time frame, like the period of time.
But you don't remember it. It's just like if you see someone walk in, you're not gonna be like, oh, they were wearing pink glasses and they did,
Yeah,
just
or
like,
you
oh,
couldn't
a person.
think if she's wearing something from like 50 years ago or something.
Yeah, and it's like, but
I mean?
also it was nothing out of the ordinary other than the time, because I really just thought some old lady who was a member of the church had come in for whatever reason. Well, whatever came in never left.
So here's the other thing. So I was up in the main building. Like you said, this was late. We were in the main building of the church. Chris and them were down there in the other building.
So you were there when this happened?
I wasn't in the gymnasium.
But
they were.
He was in the main church.
Time out. Let me go through my story, and I'm
just saying you were with the group, but you weren't there. I just want to know that. That's all.
I'm working on it, and I'm going to inform you as such.
Okay.
So Aaron, Chris, and Caleb were in the gymnasium. As he described prior in the very beginning, this is a detached metal building adjacent to the main structure of the brick and mortar church. Myself was inside the brick and mortar church adjacent to the steel building where Aaron, Chris, and Caleb and the ghost were.
Okay.
I was not in that building.
Adjacent.
I was adjacent to the gym in the building. This whole thing happened. They darted out of that motherfucker quick and ended up coming up to the main church. And they were like saying something to my parents. Chris and them were like, yo, who was here? Who was that lady? This and that. And mom and them were like, because we used to get paid to clean the church. So we were cleaning the church late at night. They were down in the gymnasium. I was up in the main building. They come up.
At that church.
They come up. They come up hysterical, like being like, yo, this lady's down there, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, let me go with y'all. So I go back with Aaron, Chris, and Caleb. So now I'm with them. We go back to see if this lady's in the gymnasium because, like Aaron said, she came in and never left. And the weird thing about the whole situation was when they walked in there, they had the alarm turned on to where anybody who's like motion sensor shit like that alarm should have tripped.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
the alarm should have tripped.
Like, I think we turned it off because we opened the door looking out in the parking lot. Like,
regardless,
okay, where's the car?
Say the alarm didn't say that you didn't have it turned on. The fucking creepiest part of this story for me is when we go back down in there and we're talking about it. I go into the kitchen, and the kitchen there was called Kay's Kitchen. It had a plaque on the fucking door that said Kay's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around because I'm thinking, who could it be? Mrs. Baird, Joanne Lankford. I'm thinking of the old ladies I knew that he was like a little white lady with a bob haircut.
Yeah.
There's a picture in the church kitchen that says Kay's Kitchen, and I'm like, is that the lady? He's like, oh, yeah, that was her. That's literally like the husband and the old lady who were original pastors, and they're gone. Like, they were dead. So I believe, because whenever I pointed it out to him, he saw that fucking picture and was like, oh yeah, no, that was the lady, and almost was relieved.
You remember that, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It was a long time ago,
dude. He was. I'll never forget it because he was like, I pointed the picture out. Yeah. I pointed out the picture and was like, did you see that lady? He was like, yeah, okay, I think that was her. Okay, cool. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't think they're alive. And he was just like, the fuck?
That's wild.
Yeah. It was wild. Yeah. But yeah, we also, when I was in San Marcos at Texas State, there was a big creepy 3-story building that was abandoned we called it the Old Pike House. Mm-hmm. And it, of course, was an insane asylum at one point, or a hospital or something. And then it was a fraternity called the Pikes. It was their house. Well, apparently what had happened is one of their pledges had gotten killed in the house, and they like took off and left the house, and it just lay abandoned. Creepy looking thing. And we went in there one midnight, me and a buddy. We heard a girl scream in there. You would walk out, it was a huge like hospital type thing, but an old main building, and that's it. Yeah. And doors would start slamming shut in there. It had a big front yard, and I talked to somebody else about this. He said the same thing happened to him. When you look out that front window, like cars start pulling up with their headlights, like way back towards the road. They just start pulling in. And yeah, that was creepy.
And you would walk out, there'd be no cars though, but when you're in the house, it looks like cars are pulling up?
Yeah. And then like doors would just slam shut. And there's no wind in there. I mean, there's I don't know what it is, but there's something.
It's kind of shit. If that structure still exists, I'd like to try.
Where is that
someone
at?
Burn it down. Someone burn it down.
Damn.
Where was it?
Yeah. It was in San Marcos.
And they burned it down. Do you think, did they do it because of that, you think?
No, some kid burned it down.
Oh.
But they said the legend is that if you went into the basement, the pledges, they nailed their pledge books under the basement and then burn them or something. And that was like the old legend. But we went under there and I saw them, dude.
There's gotta be places all over the place.
They're like
that. Yeah. We gotta find them so that we can visit.
Yeah.
Them.
Well, there's the bridge. If you look up, there's a place in Denton, like the screaming. Like if you check that, there's like the Screaming Lady Bridge or something. Like look it up real quick. Like Haunted Bridge in Denton. There's a bridge or something in Denton, or Goatman Bridge. That's what it is.
Because
I was looking up
Cameron Park here.
No, I know. I was looking up Goatman one night and it popped up Denton, Texas. No, it's Goatman Bridge.
Something.
Type in Denton Goatman Bridge. Goatman Bridge. Because they had one in C.
So they named it that, but let's see what the history
is. It ghost even in
lore. So
Denton,
here's
Texas?
A ghost lore. Yeah. Well, actually, it says the nearest, but it is Denton. Yeah.
Okay. Old Alton Bridge.
So locally, the bridge is known as Goatman's Bridge. It's stated to be haunted by a half-man, half-goat figure called Goatman. The belief is based on the legend of a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn, who was said to have moved his family to a residence just north of the bridge. A few years later, Washburn, having become known as a dependable and honest businessman and dubbed the Goatman by locals, displayed a sign on Alton Bridge reading, "This way to the Goatman." But the success of a black man was still unwelcome to many at that time, and in August 1938, Klansmen in the local government crossed the bridge and kidnapped him from his family. They hung a noose on Old Alton Bridge and said, after securing it around his neck, threw him over the sides. They basically killed him. Shit. When they looked down to see if he had died, the noose was empty. In a panic, they returned to his family home and slaughtered his wife and children.
Jesus.
Locals warned that if you crossed the bridge at night without headlights, as the Klansmen are said to have done, you will be met on the other side by the Goat Man. Ghostly figures and strange lights are said to appear in the surrounding woods, as well as reports of visitors being touched, grabbed, and having rocks thrown at them. This legend results in the area around Old Alton Bridge being popular among paranormal investigators, such as crews from Ghost Adventure. So it's been investigated by different shows that are into that.
Yeah.
And did they see the Goat
there's
Man?
a place nearby. That's the Goat Man Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Denton for a while.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I wish I knew about it to check it out.
Yeah, so I was like, as soon as you said that, I'm like, well, shit, Goat Man Bridge. Also, the Adolphus Hotel in downtown Dallas is haunted, and I used to deliver there, and I had no idea it was
I think I've
haunted.
stayed there before.
So if you look up the Adolphus, it'll say it's like haunted hotel or whatever. It's because it's super old. It's like one of the oldest in Dallas. And I used to deliver there, and I was like, I'd have to go down to that like basement area where you deliver, and those fucking hallways, man. It's like, I swear that hallway got shorter. It was like Willy Wonka, bro. That shit got shorter and shorter as I went. I'm like 6'3.5", damn near 6'4", and I'm like fucking crouching to get through there. And I'm in this like, the guy tells me, he's like, yeah, just put the liquor in there. They'll be in here in a minute. I'll tell you what, I fucking propped my dolly at that door. I was like, I'm not standing in this fucking creepy ass room, bro. Because it literally had one of those metal doors that had a fucking vent plugged at the bottom of it.
Yeah, there's
and
so
it was
much
like,
weird
bro,
implications
it
of
was
a
like
hallway like that existing and all this shit.
that hallway, like I said, that hallway
Yeah.
with that little bitty room where they had the one gondola in the middle with liquor, and then the gondolas around the outside. So it was like a U-shaped room. And he's like, yeah, you can just stand there.
Thing where they tried trapping shit way back in the
I have no
Who
fucking
knows?
clue. But he was just like,
that's
he
such
was
a
like, you can
weird
just put the
design.
liquor over here, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I fucking propped that dolly with that liquor full of shit right by that door, and I stood like at the threshold. I'm like,
You gotta
dude,
try
that
and go
was
there.
the creepiest fucking like. That was one of the creepiest feelings I got in a room, and I just thought I was just like, this place is kind of creepy. Years
Yeah.
later, I find out, I'm looking up, I'm like, haunted places in Dallas. It's like the Adolphus Hotel. I'm like, no fucking shit, no shit. That place is haunted. Okay,
Yeah,
like
and I'm just where it being
that's
so
why I
old
felt
and
that
the
way.
design of that hallway, whatever intentions.
Oh, dude,
originally,
I have no idea.
I feel like
Because
there's
it just
a
like
lot to
it got
that in my
it
mind.
got little, and then it's like our you broke off to the right, and there was this door to the left. That's where the liquor room was, and the hall kept going.
Well, where they made it the liquor room now, obviously.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so old.
I mean,
I wanna
who
look
knows?
up
But like,
if the
I
history
don't
on the
know,
architecture and all that shit. I could.
bro, I'm telling you, I've been to some of them buildings, some old ass buildings in Dallas and stuff like that to deliver, and it's like that was the creepiest fucking place I went.
Well, it makes me think of something I think your mom told me, like on Swiss, but really old houses on the porches, on the ceiling of the porch. There's a certain blue, like I don't know, if it's hot blue or there's a light blue color that they would paint because I don't know if it's like either a ghost repellent or something, but you can look it
they
up.
believed in something. Yeah,
There's a certain color, and some of the
That's
houses
true.
still have it on the old large front porches. There's a certain color blue, and they would like paint it on the ceiling roof parts where you don't normally
like
look.
a dream catcher.
Yeah, but it was like some kind of just defense or just thinking it to make it safer. And some of the houses still have that, but you can look it up. Like
Yeah, I
Whether
think
it was true or not.
the last generation was a little more open to that than we are.
Yeah,
yeah,
'Cause my-
or they
my
knew there was weird
grandmother-
shit, and they're like,
Yes.
let's defend
Well, my-
against it. This seems to work.
My grandmother told me, but she's passed now, but she said that she thinks that somebody has to come get you to take you to heaven. Like one of your relatives will come back and get you and like carry you over when you're about to die. And she told us the story when my grandfather was on his last couple days or whatever. He was sitting in the living room and she walked in, and he was a rough dude, and not a bad guy, but just he was from that generation.
Yeah.
And she walked in and he was like, "Betty, I love you." And she's like, "What?" Because he never said that. And then he
He was
asked
about
her,
to
he was
die.
like, yeah, he's like, "Who are those two little kids playing on the floor earlier?" And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Who are those two little kids playing on the floor?" She's like, "Tom, there's no kids over here." But my grandmother had 2 miscarriages, and she thinks that they were coming to get him.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that makes sense, and I'm just thinking like of another interpretation being like whether they're coming to get him or not. Like he's on the verge to where he could see them, and maybe
Yeah.
they're just making it an easier transition.
Yeah.
Like
who
they're there to
knows,
like
dude?
make it more
Yeah, who
welcoming.
knows? Yeah, it could,
It could be
well,
anything, you know?
technically, though, with what you're saying is what he's saying too.
It is exactly.
You're saying it's
I'm just
well,
saying
you're
it's different
saying it makes them
interpretation
more-
of what it might be.
They're saying it's more of just a bare bones. Yeah, they're there to help them cross over, and you're
Yeah.
saying it's like well, maybe they're there to make the crossover easier.
Exactly.
But
Like I don't, in my mind, I don't think that somebody needs to take them and do it. I think you could go there, but I think maybe they're there to help it. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But if you ever stop and think about what's going on, like we have no clue how we got here. We have no clue where we came from. We have no idea why we're here. We have no idea what happens afterwards. Like just that in and of itself is mind blowing.
No, on the screen, like the little thumbs up appeared to the right of Aaron's head just now.
Oh, yeah. If you do that on iPhones, hold your thumb up. Do a thumbs up. Will a little thumb up here?
There it is.
See? No,
okay,
it does
so he
that.
triggered it. Interesting.
Yeah, if you do that on an iPhone or whatever, it'll do a
Google
thumbs up.
Meet,
If he makes no, it's not just that. It make a sad face.
Yeah, no, it's not just Google Meet. I'm saying that that technology has been integrated into this platform.
Mikey.
Yes, if he looks mad or something or does thumbs down, it'll pop up too. Like
it automatically generates like an emoji.
Yes, so if he does it for long enough, it'll be like, "Bloop, you bombed."
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm just like witnessing something that technology is doing. I used
to bomb so hard, dude. I bombed so hard. I would tell so many jokes when I was young, and Aaron would be like, "You bombed."
Yeah. It's been good. I know. I'm probably on a timeline.
Okay, yeah, you're on a timeline. We're on a timeline. We want to, Aaron. We got to have you back here, Mr. Spore, to help you join us for more shit because you have your great value add. We need to just get him in here with Jeff on a normal night, the four of us.
Yeah.
That should be fine. Yeah, if he anytime he can give us, well, just because he's like Jeff, a great value add. He can go along with anything.
Yeah,
he's nutty as a boatload of cash.
No, I love Aaron. Like I said, there's different people I have connections with in different levels. Like I love Mikey, and like we have a unique connection on things, and then that it builds over time. But then I feel like there's people that I meet. And immediately, like, there's, I don't know, like Jason, man, me and him I could get scientific on why, like, he was born on the same time as me, which I don't believe in astrology, but I do believe, in the gravitational pull of the moon when the womb is forming. Maybe those subtle differences when the womb is forming help explain the similarities that people ascribe to astrology. Is just science of when you're being formed in the womb, like your brain, all these
it's all
tiny
like
things.
Electromagnetic somehow, right?
Exactly. And that's whatever. So maybe that's part of it, but I don't think that's all of it. But either way, like I love you, and I just have always had like a connection with you. That's like, I don't know, it's unique.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, Aaron, he's a great guy, and he's one of those guys that you want to like you, but at the end of the day, he just he doesn't like you, dude. He likes only I'm always like, man, I really hope Aaron likes me, but then I'm like, I don't think he does, dude. I don't think Aaron likes me. No, I'm kidding.
We did have different conversations, and we talk about it, and you'd be like, I like that about you, or I'll just view and think about things that are maybe similar to you, to where. It's like, I don't know. Whatever.
No, I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get out your way, and this time I'll pay for food that your wife cooks. Next time.
And just don't masturbate openly. Go to the bathroom or do it in like a room.
Next time I'm there, I'll help give you money for the Wagyu beef we ate. I don't know, whatever. That was delicious, dude. I thought we were just gonna have corn dogs or something, and she's like, no,
they do like royalty.
Yeah, dude, we got fed up good, and I'm like, oh man, I don't deserve this.
Oh yeah, she can cook, man.
But thanks for being here. Thanks for setting everything up.
Absolutely.
We look forward to the next week. Hopefully, if you'd like to join us for that, dude. That would also be cool.
Yeah,
like if
Chris
you want
Boyko, man, he's a
if you want to get on here next week for our other interview, however long you can stay for, it'd be cool to get you in here as well.
We'd love to have you. If it didn't work out, that's
cool.
Man.
Yeah, because he was actually saying that you weren't in here, but he was his first commissioned art piece, wasn't
he?
Yeah, when I asked him to do a commission, he was like, "Oh, you're the first person to do that," and I was like, "Oh, cool, dude." Because he's a surrealist artist. Like he's got some.
No, dude, I've looked at a bunch of Boyko stuff.
I got two of them, man. They look good.
I love, dude.
Too. Whew.
I love it.
Yeah, dude.
And I just love that I ran it through an AI thing just to kind of like give him props, whatever. And he liked it and like gave it a thumbs up and added to a story. So it was cool that he took it the right way. Because again, like I'm just trying to like evolve and like be my own artist to where it's like that's awesome. And here's just like a different view of what technology can do. But he saw that and he was cool with it.
What was cool what you did with the Spore thing?
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah,
you
the
liked it too.
octopus. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it
real
just
cool.
like so thing.
No,
But
yeah,
yeah,
so
he's
everybody
he's got some good art, man.
everybody out there
Yeah.
who's listening to this, if you want some interesting people to know and you want to have context and know what we're talking about and know all the players involved, go follow the first one. The main one from tonight is Good Luck Buddha on Instagram, and Matt, I'm sure we'll do a great job of linking all this
Yeah.
in our description.
And
Our
here's just
description,
gonna be showing, so
but
you can see the name.
Good Luck Buddha was this week's guest.
Yep.
And we're also joined by Spore. Go to Instagram at Spore Artwork.
Yep.
That's the other one. He's the little mustache man. Show
Yeah.
him. Show Spore. Spore. Bam. Click on his little bam. There you go. So he has the Spore Artwork. Go follow him. Support the homie. And also next week we're gonna have the guy Chris Aboyko.
Yeah. So
And that's the guy we were just talking about. He's a surrealist artist. So if you want to go
Boyko.
familiarize yourself with either Chris Boyko
we're talking to him.
or
I
just
could just
surrealist art in general, that's going to be our guest next week. Or no, not next
Is
week.
it
It'll be the
Boyko
week after.
Art? Chris Boyko.
Yeah, so not next week, the week after.
Here we go.
Because we're going to be busy, I think.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
So you can kind of see just how surreal and fascinating.
No,
shit
it's
is.
wonderful. No, we'll be
I
next
love
week.
it, dude. And yeah.
Yeah, no, he'll be on next week because I got confused with my birthday and all that in
Yeah,
the
dude.
celebration there. But
Yeah, I love it, dude.
He will be
This
our
is
next
so
guest,
amazing.
and his work is beautiful. And like Aaron, like the homie
Just
said,
like
he's got
Spore's
some of
work,
his
When we
sport.
spend time, he's just as magical.
Yes.
Aaron says.
But
so we'll have everybody.
I was
next
gonna
week,
say
this
is that
where we're bringing him.
What
up,
I was gonna say is that I've had the pleasure of seeing 2 of his paintings in person at the homie's house, and holy shit.
Yeah, they're
they
nice, dude.
Yeah, the painting, the picture, what he's doing, the camera and what he's sharing on Instagram is
big.
doing a phenomenal job. It's doing a phenomenal job of showing what he does, but at the end of the day, like seeing it in person is a whole
Yeah,
you're
dude.
like, oh my god, this is even more immaculate than it
Yeah.
looks. And this is Spore.
And here I'm just showing a quick Spore
Yeah.
how like unique and that.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, all
Just
kinds of
stuff
shit.
so-
No, show this one here. This was this Ottawa or was this Seattle?
I can't even
Which
see
one?
it. I can't even
Click
see
it.
what
Is it? It's the one where the moon's in the background. You got the big building and the faces spilling through in the left and the right, almost like in a rainbow.
Yeah, I
pattern.
did quite a few of those. I did a lot of Ottawa.
Let's see.
So we can
Ottawa.
we can
I
dig
did a
into
big
it.
one at
Ottawa.
Thomas. Yeah,
But-
did a big
Yeah,
one.
that
at
one's
So
Thomas.
some
Ottawa.
amazing stuff. So we'll get into that whenever we have a.
Absolutely.
With-
yeah,
with
wanted
Aaron,
to
so-
throw
but
that
yeah,
out there.
Thank
But
you.
all right, man. Well, so yeah, we appreciate everybody being here, especially Aaron and Good Luck Buddha. Thank you guys for both joining us and
Yeah.
contributing into what y'all did for us. And, the
And I
whole
would say
episode.
let's just sum everything into one rec. Aaron
Yeah.
can make it.
let's. Yeah, you got a recommendation for the week?
So yeah,
Aaron?
we end every episode with recs of the week, where each of us, it could be literally anything. So
It
no
can be
limits
eat a
to what it is,
cheeseburger.
or it could be tie his shoes. It could be look at a can, anything. So, what's your rec for the week? Just whatever.
What do I recommend? Go outside.
Okay.
Turn off the
I
TV.
love
and
it.
go
We've said
outside.
it.
That's
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
that's a
Literally go
5-slice
outside.
recommendation. We've
It
all
is.
said go outside. So the fact that you're also
Yeah.
saying it, get the fuck
And,
out.
go ahead and tag on
Get
what
outside.
you think people should do when they go outside.
Yeah.
Make something
Look up
nice.
at the sky.
Look up.
Yeah, look at the sky. See a
Actually,
UFO.
just look at the sky.
I say get outside and breathe and feel it. Feel
Yeah,
it.
look
outdoors.
around you.
Feel it.
But don't forget to
And
look
maybe
up at
you'll
the
see
sky.
a UFO.
And look up at the sky and love your life. Know you're a part of it
Yes.
all. It's a part of you. You're
Yeah.
a part of it, and enjoy it.
Try not to kill anybody.
And you're not
That's
doing
good.
anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So I
no,
love you.
seriously,
I love
thank
this
you
guy,
guys,
Aaron.
Aaron. Thank you all, everybody for joining
All
us.
right,
And
man.
we'll say, be
Be
seeing
seeing
you.
you.
All right, take it easy.